Hello, Tuesday. Hello, guys. Hello, hello. 13 in already and looking for some. Looking for me, though. Looking for me. 14 fabulous. Give us some likes and some shares and some hearts and some things as well, guys. Thank you very much. Cheers. And who have we got in the comments already? We've got Tess, obviously. We've got the lovely Claire. We've got Acrid. We've got DeLong. Hi, everyone. Hi. It sounds dodgy. Fabulous. Every fucking week. Literally, I've just had it on. Why do I do this every time?
Is this one better? Is that better? I have no idea. Am I on? Is this nice? Is this good? Have I fixed it? Is that got better or worse? Better or worse? Now I'm far away. Oh my god, what's happening? I literally have just fixed this. I don't understand. Technical difficulty Tuesdays. Every time.
I'm just trying different things now. Has that worked? Help me. Is this better? I literally have two microphones plugged in and it keeps going from one to the other and I have no idea why. Right, I said this to the girls. Speaking of, I've got two very special guests this week. We have the lovely Pebble Dash and Plastiq. Please welcome our guests.
Hi.
Hi.
Hello. Hi.
Literally,
How is everyone?
Every Tuesday it happens. I have no idea why. Every Tuesday. Welcome down. If you've got any questions for Pebble and Plastiq, get them in the comments. Fabulous. Oh, we've got people saying fine. Is that my sound or is that the guest?
No, that's me. I look fine, Paul.
So, like, girls drinking, Plastiq, you are on the vodka tonight, yes? She's having
just the cheap stuff.
Small one.
Just the cheap stuff.
Pebble's being
Ribena, dear.
I'm on the Nana Sambuca, so don't. Just one of us has to keep the side going. Cheers, girls.
Ooh, cheers.
Oh. So yes, after last week's Mona tit moment, we've got Pebble in the middle balancing us out. Again, if I get cut because of nipples, please. We are on YouTube as well.
I'll not stand up because I fully have my cock out. So,
thanks. Daniel said that the hair's stunning. Fabulous. Thanks. I put it on and I caught myself and I thought I looked a bit like Miss Rory.
I bet. I can see it.
I mean, it's not a bad Snatch game, but, you know.
Snatch game? Never heard of you.
It's not a thing. Plastiq, you've been compared to Rory quite a bit anyway, haven't you?
Straight
in with that one.
Yeah, no, I have quite a lot. I mean, yes, and they're not wrong. I think definitely in the past. I think I've moved away from that a bit now.
Oh, absolutely.
No, like, but obviously, I've started wearing suits now, so I'm very.
The drawer is coming back.
I'm not helping myself, but yeah,
you're really not.
But it like Rory was like a big source of inspiration for you when you first started in drag, going back to the drag idol days. Like you were almost like enamored with Rory's comedy styling, but you definitely put your own twist on it.
I think for me, back in like 2014, so like the July before my drag idol, so I started working at Boulevard. I had never seen RuPaul's Drag Race. I didn't really go to like drag bars. I wasn't interested in drag, and it was like Boulevard that was like my drag inspo, rather than all these queens that like see it on YouTube. Mine was that Miss Rory, Betty Legs Diamond. So for me, like, yeah, definitely took a lot from Rory. Took a lot from Betty as well, to be fair, when it came to like being on stage. But yeah, that it was mostly because that was the first real drag I'd seen. So
Thanks.
sorry.
It's
Yeah,
fine.
but like,
It's fine.
to be fair though, I'd never seen it. My only drag queen I'd seen before that was Ruby Reynolds in Easy Street on like my 16th
Yes.
birthday when I went in there when I shouldn't have.
Yeah, no, like the early drag idols were a lot of fun. Like your drag idol specific, like I always remember you just randomly pulling it out the bag with the Mary Poppins number was the moment I went, this girl's got something. Like
and then the next week she had nothing, but she had
Gone.
one good number that took it to the final. So without Mary Poppins, I would not be here.
But it goes to show though that's all you need to get to the final, isn't it, Pebble?
Oh, how bloody dare you? Listen, I done great until the final. It was the final that fucked me up. My first performance in the final was terrible. I know it was terrible, and I didn't even enjoy doing it. But I never thought I was going to get to the final.
You do have to enjoy your performance yourself before anyone else can, really, like in all of it. Absolutely.
Usually I'm too drunk.
I can't relate. You wouldn't catch me drinking on the job, not at all.
Oh, never, dear.
I wish I could get that video of you on the edge of the Pink Room stage, Pebble, when I'm performing at Sunday Night Live, and you'd already been on, but she was hammered, and like literally just sat on the front of the stage, looking at the stage over her shoulder, just go.
Literally, the video is just me being like,
Mortal.
"Where's that?
But
What's going on?"
It's like a weird, like gypsy costume kind of thing.
Well,
I don't know.
Do you know? Was it not Lady Gaga?
Yeah.
Was it that night when I slipped down the wall and my wig got caught on a nail on the wall? It started lifting.
I couldn't imagine you doing a Gaga number. I can't imagine you doing a Gaga number like at all.
Listen, it was so not my thing at all. I love Lady Gaga, but performing to Lady Gaga, so I totally struggled. So I got blackout drunk because I felt so uncomfortable.
Is that one of the joys of Sunday Night Live, though? Like, is that one of the joys of doing Sunday Night Live? Is the fact that you are pushed out of your comfort zone on a regular basis?
Yeah,
to kind of 100%. Do something you wouldn't normally do.
I mean, because I pick the themes, but everyone else is. And if it's
There's
a theme
been
I don't
so
like,
many.
I go, I'm just going to host tonight. I'll just host. You girls do your
She
numbers.
tries this all the time.
She graciously gifting someone else her slot. There you go, girl.
Yeah,
we'll have a test.
I think the most random.
What's Ivy doing? Give Ivy a call. I don't want to do this month. Call Ivy. Where's Ivy?
For me, the most random one was the disco one. That was kind of my first like official one, but I wasn't meant to be there. And literally at like 9 o'clock at night, Elle was here getting in drag, and Jack phoned me, like, I need you to perform. And I done a Beyonce disco song from Goldfinger. Could not tell you what it was. And I literally done this the whole time, so no one could see my lips.
I was just about to say, like, Michael March has commented, I love Plastiq's dance transformation from the Plastiq tornado to the Plastiq forward roll.
Yes. Yeah.
I remember the days when you had the 3 steps. And it was every number was these 3 steps because you'd learn it. I think it was Whitney. Was it a Whitney number that you learned it to? And you were like, I'm doing this in every single number now.
But I mean, I gave the people what they wanted, and I let.
We wanted the steps.
Yeah.
I had a shot every time, so I was fine.
I might have to join in with the shots. I've just kind of looked over.
Oh,
there's a bottle of tequila over there.
Obviously, you've got to. It's a Tuesday.
I'll shimmy sideways.
It's a Tuesday.
My skirt.
That's all we need to get banned for Facebook because Jack's got their penis out.
Claire Bowie has said Penny's cartwheel is pretty awesome. I can only ever do a cartwheel in the Pink Room. If you've experienced it, it's a moment. If you haven't experienced it, wait until Pink Room opens. I'll come in and do one. I'll come in and do a cartwheel. Because my new rule is say yes to everything now. I mean, I'm saying no to
I have never seen you do a cartwheel, and I would love to.
Pebble, Penny's new rule is say yes to everything.
Mm-hmm.
That's mine.
That's
literally been our year.
Yeah.
That's our yearly motto.
And we've
this year.
ended
We're
up in
saying
some
yes.
shit
I was gonna say,
shows.
but has that worked for you though? Has it like have you had some amazing experiences because of saying yes?
Yeah. Well, I would say so. Yeah, some of them are still
I didn't get
upcoming.
a glass, but I'll do it in a hat.
Some of them are still upcoming, but I would definitely say that. Oh, cheers!
Cheers.
Cheers. I killed it.
11 minutes in, 2 shots. Fabulous. Cheers.
I would definitely say it's working. I feel like we're both doing things that we weren't doing last year during lockdown. I feel like this year we're taking the opportunities a lot more and kind of creating our own opportunities as well, which is working.
You're both very good at making your own work, like, and making your own opportunities and building on them as well. Like, would you recommend doing that? Like more queens doing that, or do you just want them to come to you for work?
Just come to us. I will give you 2 free drinks every Sunday in the Pink Room. We pay very well. No, I think, of course, kind of go out there. Like, as soon as someone says, like, is making your own work a good idea? I always go, well, look at Testicle. Because, like,
exactly.
the queen, Testicle.
Yeah.
She never has an empty diary. Even in a pandemic, she's got a Zoom meeting every Saturday.
Yeah.
And she's getting that money. She makes her own work and she's never not in drag.
And she's done absolutely everything. She's done so much stuff. She's done everything she's done the Tickle tours. She's done the British Airways? Virgin Atlantic. Virgin Atlantic, their first LGBTQ flight. She did the advert. She's done all sorts, and she's constantly working, and she's done so well. Like she's bringing up the 2 girls as well. She's very much like taking the girls along with her and lifting them up as much. And she adopted Gucci a couple of years afterwards, and lifting Gucci up as well. There's been a whole lot of work goes into her creating her own. But I do enjoy the fact that you brought the longest running recent cabaret night to the scene. I say that, but I also mean the only cabaret night on the scene.
Yeah.
How long's this now been going? How long's it actually been going?
When did I try and kill myself? Just after
3 years ago.
For about 3 years.
Has it been that? Yeah. So that's like 40. No, can't do maths. 36 different events if it's monthly.
Probably about 36. Yeah.
Minus the last year.
Oh yeah.
Forgot about that. But,
it was 2. Yeah, so probably about 28, 29 shows we've done.
All of them with a different theme.
Yes, and Plop is the only person that's done every single one of them. I don't count because I missed one.
That's kind of incredible though. For a scene where people say nothing happens on, the fact that there's this regular night. Like, would you want more people turning up to it? Do you think more people should turn up to it? Do you think it needs more recognition on scene? Or are you glad that you have the very loyal kind of Sunday Night Live fans who go religiously, because they do?
I think without like dragging up old drama, because that's not the person I am today anymore, that person. I think Sunday Night Live... No, I'm not, but you know I'm not. Like, I never was. I just played one on Instagram and Facebook. No, but like, I think Sunday Night Live suffered a bit. It had some bad press for a moment, which I think did like hurt the brand, if you want to call it that. I think coming back from the pandemic, I'd like to think it's going to return. I want it to return. Obviously, this all is pending who gets a Sunday night in the Pink Room, because it might not be me. Like, you never know returning what shifts we're going to have.
We have to be thankful that we've got the bar at all, to be completely honest. That's got to be a moment.
But we'll see. I'd love it to come back. I'd love things to maybe be a bit different. And if you haven't been to Sunday Night Live, I'd love more people to come. I kind of wish it was earlier in the day. 2 o'clock in the morning seems a bit...
Yeah.
But
that's
what other venue?
This is what you've got to do. You've got to do a Sunday lunch live. You've got to do the brunch. Do the Sunday brunch live. That's where you're at. 20%.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I think we've lost cast members over the pandemic, so.
I mean, you'll get the same number from me every week, but I'll do it.
As long as it's not Shirley Bassey, then
That's exactly what it was. We've got Frida saying, hasn't Anna done the most? Ooh.
Absolutely not. Anna, the joke being that Anna was in the original Sunday Night Live cast and done 2 shows, but was on 8 posters because she kept dropping out the day before. And there's a stool in the pink room that has officially done twice as many shows as Anamorphic, because so many people have used it as a prop. Yeah,
more you know.
That's the story there.
We've got a comment from our Tess saying, Lucifer says, hello girls, she's restricted from commenting for calling someone on Facebook Live. So hi Lucy.
Hi Lucy.
What an idiot Lucy is as well, by the way. So
I do want Lucy on a live very soon though. I want her on a live because we haven't had her yet.
You'll get banned from Facebook.
I know you might get banned from Facebook.
We're on YouTube, it's fine. We can figure something out. Gladys has said Cara Banara's done more SNLs than Anna.
Oh, Cara Banara has been in every plop number for like the last 12 SNL shows before the pandemic.
Yeah.
I think every single one.
Has she ever actually got to perform?
Yes, once.
Oh, right, good.
Sunday Night Live 90s.
Oh, yeah, the wig.
I have like
the wig.
A photographic memory of Sunday Night Lives.
I remember everyone.
Sure.
The lovely Davy Fleming, who has a lot to say but not a lot to follow it up with, has said, Callum Richardson, you'd slay these old past it bitches.
Davy's only saying that because he's a bitter little twink. That's right, I said twink, bitch. No,
I
Davy
have
was...
no idea who it is.
I love that
many people
like,
do.
Google, Facebook now. Who is this?
He's lovely. Davy is lovely, but he was trying to be funny on my Instagram earlier on, and said that if he was straight, which is laughable, he would fuck me. And I said, I would fuck you as well, dear. Round the head with a hammer. So now he's coming to get me.
Bless him.
It's fine, Davy. We prefer your brother.
I don't know who you are.
The lovely Karma Valentine, our Kai, has said, if he's a twink, am I a bear?
Who? Oh, Kai.
Our Kai?
No, you're not a bear. People like bears.
Okay. Pete Green said, I love Tuesdays, glad I get to see it rather than working against it. Pete, it's lovely to have you. I do love our Pete. I've seen that Rusty's are posting saying that they are very excited to be back. Pete, let us know. Are you going to be back at Rusty's? Or is Plastiq taking your work? Girl, if I get offered it, I'm fucking having it. Sorry, Pete, I love you. Please bring in music for me. Because Pete used to do that. I loved him for it.
I love Pete too.
Fave local queens and kings, please. From the lovely Gladys. Local kings and queens.
Pebble.
I hate everybody.
I was passing the question to you, dear.
I knew that, cunt. It's no the roast yet. My favourite local kings and queens, I would say... Well, everything's in, like, groups, isn't it? I've spoke about this before. So, that, like, there's, like, the Yard Girls. There's the Sunday Night Live group. There's... So, like, Frida, Ivy, and Baron, I think what they're putting out just now is some of the best quality. So those three, I definitely love anything that they kind of put out, and I'm always a fan. Even though I don't get half the Harry Potter references because I'm too old to know what they are.
I think
I love that you're
for
the
me,
old one. That makes me happy.
it's nice to be the young one again. I've been at work all day, and like my entire team is younger than me, and I'm never the old one. So it's nice to be the young one again.
You're welcome.
But yeah, favorite kings and queens for me. I think obviously Baron. Everyone knows that Baron, like, and me are like ride or die. Love Baron. Me and Baron had like a lovely moment today. Actually, where we both realised that Vampir's tits could come back at the end of the year because of lockdown restrictions, and we both got very overwhelmed by that thought. So that was very exciting. And favorite queens, I think it's so hard to say and narrow it down. We've got so many. This do you know who I really love? And it's not someone who you'd probably think that I'd say quite often. Latrine. Not because like there's something about Latrine that like I never used to get. So I used to almost not dislike, but at least be like, oh well, it's not my thing. I don't really get it. But then as soon as I realised, oh, I'm not meant to get it, I had like this kind of it's perfect. So yeah, Latrine. And of course like Rayla, but I'm only saying that because she was my best pal.
Well, I'm going to say Frida and Dick because they're on next week. Frida and Dick. Next week. Next week we've got Frida and Dick. So, no, but Latrine, I actually said this today to Ryan, my sport bubble, who I'm out walking with today. And I was like, because he tuned into the Latrine live that we had. And he said Latrine was so kind of interesting and weird for someone who's outside of the scene to come in and see. But he hung on every word. Like when Latrine went deep with politics and things like that, you stop and you listen. Like, and then the accent comes back, and it's just what the fuck just happened. And it's a moment because you go. It's so I love our Latrine, and I have said that Latrine is welcome back anytime on show. As are all my guests, always. To be fair, everyone's welcome back whenever.
Am I the first return then?
No.
Oh, fuck off! I'm done.
No, I think the first returning guest was actually Tess.
Oh yeah, right enough. Because she was on with me and then came on
she was on with you, and then she wanted to get a word in edgeways, so she came back. So it's one of those things.
But I totally agree with what you were saying, Plastiq. Like literally, there's so many queens, and so many of them are so different for each other. So to pick like a favourite, I definitely don't have like a favourite queen or a favourite king because
I feel like it
I get
almost
something
just
different.
Disservice.
Yeah, like I feel like so many people, like as I say, for me, content-wise, just now it's Frida, Ivy, and Baron, but I get something different from say Mother and like doing things with Mother or Latrine, like you said, or anybody really. Like everybody offers kind of such different versions of drag, and that's why we've pulled a team together to do the roast on Saturday because all of them are so different.
It's a very varied bag. It's a very mixed bag that you've got because you've got some very experienced queens and you've got some less experienced queens, but you've also got an amazing mix of absolutely everything from everywhere in every corner of the scene coming on.
Exactly.
I think it was important to have a lot of funny queens and, of course, Mixie. So it was... God love it. She has been getting it from every angle in the roast little group chat thing we've got.
And it hasn't even started yet.
No, and she is... I think there's some people in there that are just like, are you sure you got yourself into this on like good intention? Because... I remember my roast last year. I barely made it out alive.
Yeah, like you have to be prepared for this sort of thing. You have to be ready to sit there and take the abuse, and that's a very specific thing. Like that's a hard thing to do.
Yeah, I think that's a big problem that a lot of people are very good at throwing, but aren't very good at catching.
Yeah.
Which I don't think is a problem with the group that we have, but it's definitely a thing that you notice with younger queens who think trade is that one challenge on RuPaul's Drag Race, that one mini challenge, and that's where it stops and starts. And I mean, for me, I think I've always been on definitely the more giving side of the shade umbrella. But for me, it's something that was always natural, and it's something that was always needed within drag. And as the younger queens kind of came about, I realized that not everyone appreciates it, but it's something I love.
Yeah, but I mean, I'm just a cunt anyway, whether I'm in drag or not. But
it's true.
I feel like most of the time, I at least have the kind of nudge, nudge, wink, wink. Even when Tess says it all the time, Tess says, Pebble always says that she'll say whatever she wants to me, but if anyone else does it, I'll kick for cunting. And that's absolutely kind of what I'm like. And if I like you, I'll be even more vile to you.
Don't I know it?
Because you have both had the experience of doing it live. I'm trying to think of a nice way of saying it. Doing a live where something wasn't very well received, and then having to recoup.
Are we talking about Snatch Game? We can talk about Snatch Game.
Yeah, we can talk about it.
I'll talk about Snatch Game quite openly.
Because it was a moment. It was a moment to kind of watch and witness and take away from as well. Because as a viewer, I was watching it and I wasn't quite sure what was going on, but I couldn't turn it off. But
I think.
How did you girls feel about it without,
For me, it was so upsetting because what started out as funny, it was funny. The Snatch Game, as confusing as it was funny, and there was shade in every direction, blah blah blah. Obviously, we knew that contestant was going to be one person. We knew another contestant was going to be a conflicting person, and we thought,
and it was me that planned it. I planned that.
But we also said it's going to be great to keep that a secret. That's not something we should share because that's the point of Snatch Game. And it just did not go well. No.
Like, if I've got to say, if I turned up as one character and my rival character was already on the panel, I'd have loved that. I'd have been living to riff off that person. Absolutely would I.
The thing is as well, so, because I had a different view of it because I was the host, so I got to have the silent moments and watch everybody kind of together and see what was going on. So, we never told the person that, so they obviously came on as Tiger King, and Scott, I suggested to Scott, look, do Carol Baskin. It'll be such a gag. We won't tell, we're talking about Dita, obviously, but we won't tell Dita, and it'll be like a gag. And genuinely, I thought it was a joke. And I don't know Dita that well. I know that most other people would have seen it as an opportunity because you've now got that person there in front of you. I think, yes, there was shade. There was some shade that... So one of the things that I noticed that we were all a bit guilty of is we were all using each other's characters' names. But a lot of the time we would call Dita Dita when we were being shady. So it did ruin that part of the illusion for her, which I get. But I was trying so hard to keep it going. Even when she changed into Carol Baskin, I was like, oh my God, we've got two Carol Baskins. And I was kind of trying to get them to engage a bit. And I just think it put her off. And fair enough, everybody has the right to react and kind of take what they want from it. It just went west. It seemed fine, and then it just went west suddenly.
It was very fast. It was a very fast moment.
Mm-hmm. It was, I think, for me, and I'm sure Dita would correct me if I'm wrong, but it wasn't a situation that Dita was used to in terms of like a comedy backwards and forward. We'd already done the roast. We had some practice under our belt. We knew what kind of worked. And for Dita, it was brand new. And I think Dita on stage, doing Ariana Grande Break Free, Drag Idol All Stars, like, woo, like that's where Dita was great. In this kind of situation, I don't think Dieter knew how to handle it, and that's no shade to Dieter. But that's when it lost a bit of it. It fell apart.
Yeah.
Have you been more specific picking people since that event, and people who you know can handle everything that's going to be thrown at them? And like you've said with Mixie, who's probably the least experienced queen working out of everyone that's on the roster, have you prepared her for this?
Yeah.
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 I think this is really the first event we've done since, because we were almost put off by it. I think
Yeah.
I was.
Kind of
understandably.
There was no almost. I was, because for me as well, both the roast snatch game, it was mine. It was Pebble's snatch game. It was my name, so it didn't matter what happened. It was my name on it, and there was a level of guilt. I didn't like what happened. I didn't like the end result. I mean, it's never seen the light of day. I have the video, and one day I would love to be able to edit it in a way that it could be shown, but I don't see how I could do it. But yeah, because my name was kind of directly attacked, it definitely put me off. And literally, this year, the reason that I decided to do the roast again and kind of ask everybody to be involved, obviously, you know, Penny, it's my birthday on Sunday, and it makes me the focal point. So any abuse and rate, it comes to me.
You know you're going to get the majority of it. Like, it's going to be full frontal.
Exactly. It's like, have a couple of jokes about these people, but it's going to be aimed at me. And I didn't care what none of these talentless hacks say, because they all have to remember, I get to roast them at the end.
Who's on it? Because you've got some big names. You've got some hard hitters in there.
Yep, so there's obviously myself getting roasted. Plastiq,
you know,
jump into the group.
I was about to check the poster.
Check the poster. So we've got...
I'm there.
Plastiq hosting, me being roasted. We've got Mother Tucker, Latrine, Baron, Lucy, Elle, Gladys, Mixie. I believe that's everyone. We can see why the first poster I forgot to put Gladys on, because I forget.
Lucifer, Mother Tucker, Latrine Lurker, Baron LeVay, Mixie, Illuminati, Gladys Duffy, me, all roasting her.
Fabulous. What a lineup, though. That's an all-star lineup there.
Don't talk about all-stars here.
Did you not see where I was going with this? So, Pebble, what's it like not being asked?
What, to do all-stars? Oh, I was still relevant when it happened, because I'd only been in Drag Idol the year before. Or that year, in fact, I think. So I'd only just done it, so I wouldn't expect to get asked. I would expect... The queens that got asked is kind of who I would expect to be asked to the first one.
And Jackie LaQ.
I don't know who this is. I've seen the videos.
I genuinely think if Jackie LaQ hadn't have been in Drag Idol again, she'd done it a second time, and we had the big reveal of her coming back. If she hadn't have done it, she would have been there in place of someone else.
Jackie was such an entity when she walked on the stage the first time. Like,
did she do Cheryl Cole while she was off her tits on drugs?
Yes.
Is that her?
I mean, that doesn't narrow it down with Drag Idol contestants, to be fair.
It was the infamous moment when Gloria Hull went, nah, and said that she'd knock her out in the car park.
Yes.
Yeah. But the original infamous moment was where they cut a music short.
Because she'd been going on for 7 minutes.
Yes. But then she wanted... I at least thought I'd get my allotted time.
I at least thought I'd get my allotted time. It's such a moment.
It was a legendary moment.
It really was. It really was. We were Gladys saying Gloria threatened to fight her. That's Gloria. Like, you know, don't upset Gloria. Do not upset.
I would never fight in
experience. Do not upset Gloria.
Imagine someone fighting in drag, Penny. Terrible.
Couldn't imagine it, Pet. Couldn't imagine it. Doesn't happen outside the yard when you're working.
I didn't fight. I knocked him out.
Any questions for the girls? Get them in the comments. Anything you want to know? How's the planning for the Mixed Drag UK going, Pebble?
Ooh, yeah. So Well, I've done nothing. Actually, so the roast, obviously, the roast that we're doing on Saturday, rewind. So Mixed Drag UK is part of the Mr. Gay UK competition. This year, they've opened it up to drag queens. And what I really like is Mr. Gay UK, for the first time, they've also opened up to sex workers. Drag queens and sex workers have always been kind of hand in hand. We're selling a fantasy. So I like that they've been more open.
I don't know what I've done with this.
I'm confused how they could have not opened it up to sex workers. Like, is that something you have to disclose on the application? Because if so, that's horrendous.
It's something that's never been favourable to the judges.
So yeah, they'll check. Obviously, there's going to be people who have done it, but I believe they used to check like social media and things like that as well.
Again, like the Mr. Gay UK competition goes back to the early 90s.
Yeah, so it's like it was
late 80s, so it's a very weird decade era for the gays.
For sex work. So they're also doing Mixed Drag UK. I'm not going to say who else is in it. I don't know if they've announced, and I don't want to take away anybody's. But there's some other local people in the competition as well. But as I say, I don't want to kind of announce on their behalf. And it's a pageant, and that's why I entered, because it's fucking hilarious that I'm in a pageant. Like, I'm the least pageant queen. What I like about it though is a big percentage of the scoring is how much you raise for charity. And the charities that they support is Northern Pride, specifically the Health Zones and the Charlie and Carter Foundation. So the roast on Saturday, all tips that we get will actually go towards that and go towards part of the fundraising.
What?
So she's left it very last minute. I mean, it might have been a week before the pageant, but I've raised the money.
I know, we've got the money. But yeah, I'm excited for it. It's like, it's obvious pageanty things, there's like an audience vote. It's been held at the finales at
the Annick Garden.
What's it called?
Annick.
Why has it got an L in it?
Why hasn't it got an L in it?
Alnwick. I thought it was Alnwick.
Oh, Annick.
Right. Fucking hell, as if I'm the one with the speech impediment tonight.
Are you Scottish?
Yes.
Is it everything like past us spelt with random letters in it for no reason?
Well, yeah, to be fair. But yeah, so the finale's there in August. And we're putting on a minibus. We've been discussing.
I will not be on the minibus, but I will be there. I'll be there.
I just want you to come and laugh at me. So, like, it's got like an evening wear, it's got a regional costume, and it's got a swimwear costume.
Is the swimwear section in the fountain? Because I love that fountain anyway. So
I mean, if I'm near enough to the fountain, I might.
Well, there's a bit where it spits water over your head, so that could work.
Oh my god, it better be. But
you have to go beforehand, because if you stand in the right place, I found this out as someone who just visited the Annick Garden. If you stand in the right place, the water will hit you directly on the back of the head.
Oh, that's fine.
It's good to know.
Can you imagine if it just took your wig off?
The SNL all over again.
Well, the thing is, I'm taking it seriously because I get to raise money for charity. That's what to me is the most serious thing. But what I'm planning for my free outfits is not serious at all.
It's going to be traditionally Pebble.
Yeah. So still slutty, still something a bit off, still homemade.
Are you wearing that wig?
Bitch, you know you love this wig.
Yeah, I do like that wig. I'll give you that. You look like a really heavy rogue from X-Men.
Yeah, I've actually got the red one as well, like Storm.
Phoenix.
We've got Kai asking, do you get asked if you do OnlyFans or anything?
Kai, we get it. You do OnlyFans.
I give mine away for free on Twitter. It's fine.
So I sell pictures of my feet in high heels on Facebook Messenger. That's why I very rarely log into Pebble's Messenger. But men apparently like really big feet and heels. Plastiq, you've got the same size shoe. Get selling.
Yeah, I'm all right, you know.
I'd rather not.
I get enough at home. I'm good.
Now that I've got these tits, I might.
I'm screwed.
Now I've got the tits, I might start an OnlyFans, but keep it headless until like 2 months in. And they're just like, all right.
When you've made a full £6, then you
Exactly. £6 in my pocket.
We've got Liam Patrick Spencer saying, I can't wait to see you bitches soon. I say, see, I won't be able to see properly. I'll be mortal, but it'll be camp. Liam, we can't wait to see you either.
I don't know who
As
you
soon as I
are.
work out which one you are,
Same.
This is
I am really bad with names, but I'm really good
Liam
with
Patrick
faces.
Spencer with the cute brother.
Oh, but that's
Wait,
fucking lovely.
Oh yes, no, I like you, Liam. Yeah. How's your brother? I hope he's all right. No, like I like them both. Him and his brother come in to think room all the time, and many a night have I went home and fantasized about being in the middle of you two. So there
You go. You heard it here first.
how much have I drank?
Just had one small drink.
I've been topping it up off camera.
Because we do it every week and I get told, why do you talk about this? Shall we do a little drag race? Even though I do understand that, Plastiq, you are very familiar at giving your opinions on Drag Race.
Yes. Every Monday on youtube.com/c/Jack Plastiq, I review Drag Race with the biggest people I know, my friends. It's very good, very fun. It's just us talking shit. But yes, I would love to talk a bit of Drag Race, actually.
It's fun, though. So what have you thought of this week without giving away too much? Because, obviously, yeah.
Oh, fuck up. If you've not seen it by this point, it's your own fault you're getting spoilers.
I just mean I don't want to take any of our content.
Are we talking about...
Well, yes, if you want my full opinion, obviously head over to my YouTube. But no, this week, I enjoyed it. It was not a great Snatch game. But
you can't even say it was a
right.
Snatch game. It was terrible.
I've seen worse.
I mean, we spoke about it earlier.
I've seen worse. And one person changed it to Carol Baskin halfway through. It was weird. But no, it was fun. Bimini was incredible. Anyone that wasn't Bimini was all right, unless they were Lawrence or Tia. And then it was okay. That was my stance on it.
I didn't enjoy Sister Sally Morgan.
Ironically, as if anyone's watched my YouTube show, you'll know that I'm not the biggest fan of Sister.
You've never said.
It's because you can't, Tia.
My sister. Yeah. But no, my sister rants do go on a bit. But I didn't mind a Snatch game. Hated our runway, but I didn't mind a Snatch game. She made me like do that laugh, like the like when you realise you don't like someone.
I thought Bimini was really good. Bimini was fucking amazing. It was one of my favourite Snatch games I've seen. Whoever done Vicky Pollard, so like Sally Morgan, Vicky Pollard, to me they were like safe. They were like you done a thing. I think it's lazy when people take a comedy character and do a comedy character and just do what they do, which is exactly what Lawrence done. Yeah. He just took stories Miriam told on Graham Norton and tried to squeeze them into the answer, and it didn't work. I'm very excited for the US Drag Race next week, though, because it's Snatch Game. And Rosé is doing Mary Queen of Scots, which I always said I would do, because you can do what you want with the character.
So now you can't do Mary Queen of Scots. Who would you do on Snatch Game?
Well,
sorry, this is Penny's show. As soon as we're talking about Drag Race, I turn into the interviewer.
It's got to be done. You've got to do it. It's supposed to happen.
I'd maybe do Nicola Sturgeon or Lorraine.
You could do Nicola Sturgeon going into Elton John.
Oh my God, yes.
Literally exactly the same outfit, just add some glasses.
So true.
I like it.
What did you think of the American Drag Race this week? So, like the Rusical. They're making really shit choices with the Rusicals now.
Right.
And I'm gutted Candy left. I feel like I'm the only person in the world who likes candy.
Did you stop watching before the end?
It?
Oh no, but wait, was going to go. No, I watched RuPaul change her mind. But
So,
like, I was just gutted for her.
She just fast forwards to the end, see who it is. Right, I don't need to.
Like, for me, that was so infuriating. Well, I literally, like, I was gutted about the bottom two, whatever. I love Simone. I think Simone's great. Simone so far was my winner. When Rue sent Candy home, I went, shame for Candy, but thank God, like, get them out. And then he went, Candy, and I went, no! This is ridiculous. 8 episodes in, and there's still practically a full cast. I mean, rumor has it, apparently they're trying to keep it going as long as possible, so restrictions are lifted so they can do a live finale. But, come on. Come on.
For me, it felt very much like Rue was planning on bringing someone back and having a comeback episode, but no one that he's sent home until that moment felt worthy.
Yeah. But 9 people for Snatch Game? 9?
That's a lot.
That's going to be intense.
We used to have big numbers, though. We used to have quite big numbers.
Yeah, they used to do 9. Latrine's
sure
season, there was
8.
3, 3, and 3.
Latrice, there was 4.
Oh my God, Latrice. Easily confused.
Yeah, because they look so similar.
Twins, dear, twins. But yeah, everybody who hasn't watched Plastiq's critiques, you should go and watch it. Watch my episode. I got the most comments just saying, and all the rest of them are really good as well. Also, while we're on it, plug, like the hair plugs Penny's getting. Also on a Monday at 6 o'clock, once you've watched Plastiq's critiques, my new podcast's released every Monday at 6. Ask me about my podcast.
A bit later. Why we?
I will in a bit. No, come on, Pebble. Tell us all about the podcast.
No, before we move on to your podcast, because we're going to skip over my YouTube once we start on your podcast. I do have a new video coming out on Thursday. It ends horrendously. I try to do the Tesco thing and do my full face of makeup from Poundland. It did not end up well. So,
it did not.
That's coming out on Thursday, so go over and give that a watch. And make
you're doing a lot of different stuff on yours, aren't you, Plastiq? Like you've done the reviewing your old numbers.
Mm-hmm. That was fun. Then Poundland.
That's my ringtone. I'm not.
And then, shall I give you like some exclusive tea? On Mother's Day. There's a very special video where I put my mum in Plastiq drag, and it's great. It's hilarious. It gets very real and very honest. It's a full blend of everything. It's a really good watch.
You don't say the infamous lines, "A woman of a certain age," do you?
I don't say any of that. I do at one point. I don't know if I cut it out or whether it was caught on film, but I did tell her skin was so hard to work on. It felt like I was putting blush on a Sharpay. But other than that, no, me and my mum have that kind of relationship. But
if that's not the tagline for the advert, I don't know what is.
It's a very wonderful piece. But yeah, it's very nice, very emotional, very lovely, and hilarious at the end.
Heartfelt. You are doing a podcast though, aren't you, Pebs, with your housemate Anne? You're doing horrors.
Yeah, so we are both massive horror fans. People who know me, so you guys who know me, know that I'm just actually a complete geek, or a nerd for the Americans.
Look at the panel. Hello.
I know. To be fair, we're all geeks, really. We're just well dressed. So yeah, but we're massive horror nerds and studied film, and he goes like quite in depth with the filmography, cinematography. Oh, shut! So every time that we mention Anthony, whatever group chat, whatever post, just whatever's happening, if I mention him, Plastiq has to get something in about wanting to shag him. Every time.
They're not wrong, so.
I do wish he'd never cut his hair, though. He was so much more handsome with longer hair.
Oh, when he had his long hair?
Yeah,
that's when I first met him. Gold. Anthony, don't watch this part.
Watch this part. Watch this.
Yeah,
He'll
look
only
at
get
this
an ego.
part, hon. No.
Plastiq's going to show you under the desk.
So yeah, you're doing the podcast every week. Are you
So
picking
yeah,
a
so the
different
podcast
horror?
every week. So it's all about horror. So horror movies, horror games, horror books, because surprisingly we both read. Horror everything, TV shows. So we've just released our first full length episode on Monday, and it's kind of like horror news. So what's upcoming? There's loads of cool little tidbits for people who like the Resident Evil game coming out and stuff like that. And we also do a little bit of dive into the newest version of The Stand, because we've kind of, as you well know, Penny, have religiously watched it for the past week, because I've missed many things, many chats. I'm watching The Stand, I can't talk.
Can't talk watching this.
So we do a bit of dive into that. Upcoming, so on this episode, we've announced that our first guest that we're having on is Baron LeVay, and our second guest is Plastiq. And the guest interviews is going to be more about horror's impact on them. So kind of, what does horror mean to you? What's like your favourite horror movie? We keep it queer, so we pull like a queer moment for each horror movie. Gay. Pull like a queer horror movie. So for me, having watched The Stand, my queer moment was Alexander Skarsgård got nude in the last episode, as he does with every TV show.
Can you just say that name again, please?
Alexander Skarsgård. It's his name. Yeah, so it's just now, it's on YouTube, Spotify, Anchor FM, Apple Podcasts, and Google Podcasts. So everyone that's watching, if you search for A Horrible Time, and give us a like, a re-rate, a review, because it helps with the algorithms and all this new age nonsense that I don't really understand, but Plastiq informs me of weekly, so we're fine. Which is very true.
I think my favourite part of your podcast has to be the album cover.
Well, yeah, so obviously we had to get this. So there's a graphic design company based in Newcastle called Graphic Design. I mean, I'm not sure who actually runs it, but they're very good. And they created the podcast art for us. Obviously, it's Jack. So they created the podcast art for us. So it's me as Pebble, but as Freddy Krueger. So I've got the glove and like the striped dress. And then Anne as Chucky, so he's got the overalls with the good guy on it and everything. It's really, really cool. So if any of you need any graphic work done, contact Graphic Designs.
We've got a question from Tracy Nelson, the Tracy Nelson on YouTube. So the discussion of horror movies. If you had to put your drag self into a horror movie franchise, what would it be and why?
Love this question. Great question. I would 100%. I think the obvious choice would be to do something like Scream. As a drag queen, that's going to be hilarious.
Yeah.
Especially like Scream 4. That would be good. Like,
when it got a little bit crazy before they reeled it back in.
Yeah. But for me, I'd want to be in like 28 Days or 20. I want a drag zombie movie. To be fair, not a movie, but I'd want to do like Dead Set.
I was just about to say that.
Yes.
The Davina moment.
Yeah. But like backstage at a drag show. That's my dream.
That would be amazing.
I would love to make that film. If any filmmakers are watching, they want to like
there we go,
make that happen. I would do that.
We've got a Horrible Time spin-off. We're all there making a podcast.
Everyone's doing it. For me, if I was to go into an existing horror movie franchise, it would have to be Halloween. It's the original. It's the best. It set the scope for all kind of modern horror that's came after it. And I love the Rob Zombie ones, but they're not canon. So the newer ones that they've done, that Danny McBride done, Halloween Kills, it's obviously coming out later in the year. I would absolutely be in there. But I would be a slut, so I'd die very quickly.
What?
But if I was in a horror film, I would rather die.
Yeah. Like you're there to kill.
Or I'd be Michael Myers, and you wouldn't know.
I mean, with that jawline, girl.
I'm coming to kill you.
For me, I think if I was going to do a horror movie, it would be the Scooby-Doo movies.
Yes.
I feel like it's the only sort of franchise I would fit in as a character. Like,
I
I'd
get
love
it.
to do Scooby-Doo 3 with the original Scooby-Doo movie cast, with Matthew Lillard, Sarah Michelle Gellar, Freddie Prinze Jr., all of them. I'd have them all. Amazing.
I think,
That's my...
yeah, I think what horror films fit a drag queen in, that's what you've got to think about. And obviously I can think of a couple of drag queens that would do well in maybe Predator.
Anne-Marie says hi.
Anything else?
Hi, Anne-Marie.
Hi, Anne-Marie.
Hey.
We've got the lovely Ray asking the perfume question. What would your perfume be called and what would it smell like?
Ooh.
Oh, Plastiq, shall we make a perfume? Merch.
Done.
It's just called merch. Right.
I will just call it merch.
I think Mother's got that copyrighted. I'm just gonna...
I'd have to think of something cheesy that ends in a Q, wouldn't I? Like Mystique.
God, yeah.
Or something. Keep it on brand.
Mystique Summers?
Keep it within the... But like, I don't know. I really like woody, leathery fragrances. I don't like anything like sweet or like... I like
Downstairs of the Eagle.
Yeah, that's the one. Like, I just
Musky downstairs, leathery.
I want to feel like I've got cum on the knee of my chinos again, like I was 16. Like, that's what I want.
Accurate has said Predator. I don't know if she means the perfume or the movie.
No, because Plastiq.
I made a small passive comment about a couple of drag queens that would do well in the Predator franchise.
Oh God!
I didn't mention names.
I was listening.
Some of them are called the Wigs, and they're very white.
If
I had a perfume, it would be sweet.
What would you call
it would be because everything, like, I wear Snow Fairy, so I don't need a perfume because I cover myself in Snow Fairy whenever I'm in drag because it helps me feel the fancy.
Discount, do it.
And exactly, it's cheap. But
why do you think I want to shag him?
just ask politely for the discount, hun.
Yeah, but what do I get out of that? But
the discount.
I would want your fragrance to be called like cum shots or something like that.
Oh yeah, like it would have to be something like a disgusting name but a nice smell. Because Willem done his perfume like that. It was a horrible name, but it was a really nice smell.
Like morning after.
Plan B. And you just drink it to get rid of the pregnancy.
Oh, sorry, I completely missed out Wayne's question. Wayne said, what have you learned during lockdown about yourself? What have you learned?
Ooh. Hell, I'll let you go first. I'll keep going first.
Oh, I've not learned nothing. And I'm 35. I've known myself for years.
Like
I've learned to be more patient. And I've learned not to let fear get in my way.
Yeah.
Oh, and I learned not to be mental. Because I was fucking mental last year. My meds are balanced now. We're all good.
Yeah. For me, it's been very, like, you're not doing as bad as you think you are. Like, I'm doing all right. Everything's kind of, I'm not struggling with anything. And that's been a nice thing. Like, I'm taking the chance to kind of, like, do things I want to do. Like this, like the lives and things like that. I'm doing what I want to do and I'm enjoying it. And that's been what I've learned, kind of take time to step back and reflect on it and go forward with what makes you happy. What about you, Plastiq?
Are we getting real? Should we get real? For me, lockdown for me, I spent probably a good few months at the beginning, kind of spending some time more on the reflection and like looking back. I think I've grown incredibly. I think if you knew me before lockdown, you probably don't know me now. Very different person. I've aged, not a day, but I've matured a lifetime. That's like, it's, I know, right? Good, that, isn't it? Came up with that just now. But no, I think for me, it was, I had a very big struggle back in the beginning. Obviously not the most liked person on Newcastle scene. And I think it took me some time during lockdown to kind of realise I'm not perfect. I'm not going to be the most liked, and that's okay, and that's fine, and I don't really care. But every day is a journey. I'm not there yet, but I'm closer than I was yesterday. That's
I've got to say, Plastiq, I never thought I'd see the day where we were both on screen together.
well, like how crazy it was when you like messaged me with a poster, and the last messages before that were literally us like, "I hate you, you're a hypocrite." Blah, blah,
Yeah,
like,
yeah, horrid, absolutely horrid. But that was 4 or 5 years ago, and
crazy.
it's been one hell of a learning curve, kind of not seeing people and realizing that actually you do respect and like people that you didn't think you liked or respected.
Yeah.
It's so strange.
I've always been lovely.
Back to me.
Actually, so what I'll say, because I'm friends with you both, not just in a work capacity, like I'm actually friends with you both.
Yeah.
And it's been nice for me. I've had a little bit of the kind of, oh, she's a cunt, oh, like, she's shady, she's rude to people. I get mortal and I forget to do the nudge, nudge, wink, wink, whatever. I apologise, I move on. And it's been nice for me to see both of you have the chance to step back, really look at what's important, because this is what behind the scenes, what's important, what matters and who matters, and really make an effort to maintain maybe some friendships that weren't as strong, maybe get rid of some friendships that weren't actually beneficial. I think for Plastiq, one of your biggest problems, aside from the fact that you're a cunt, but one of your biggest problems was that you didn't stop ever. You never stopped. It was constant. So you never got the chance. It was, I hear what you're saying, but it doesn't matter because I'm running to do this, I'm running to do this, this is going on, this is going on. And I agree that having that bit of time at the start of lockdown, and obviously being both your friends throughout lockdown, keeping each other a level of sane, I see the difference in both of you as well. Do I think that you are the most perfect people? No. Because would I talk to you?
Oh my God,
no. And we'll all still fuck up. The thing is, the first few months has all been back on the scene. Everybody's going to be horrible because we've not shaded people, we've not been cheeky to people, we've not dealt with drunk people when we are sober. But after that first couple of months, well, I'm sober sometimes. When I start, I'm sober.
How did you kind of cope through the beginning of lockdown? Because, like, it's not, I don't often get the chance to speak to other people about this. Like, for me, I kind of stripped everything, and like my relationship felt a shit, like whatever. I built all back up now and everything's great, but like for me, it was such a difficult time. I was very upset. I was depressed all the time, crying all the time. Like for something that I thought was going to be a couple of weeks. Like I'm so curious what other people's kind of take on it was.
For me, going back to lockdown 1, I completely embraced myself in Animal Crossing. That was my getaway. That was me getting out of the house. That was exactly everything I needed, was something to fill my time, which had no consequence. And that's how I spent my time. I'd message my friends, I'd be online, and that's pretty much all I did to exist during the first lockdown. But that did give me the time of building up the person that I am rather than the person that I think I should be. It was a moment where I kind of thought, if I can be this person online and still talk to my friends, why aren't I doing this to more people? Because I'm a nice person deep down.
I mean, when you want
I just
to be,
don't share it. Yeah, but that's the thing. It's when I want to be, and I don't understand why I didn't want to be more often. Because if you're a nice person, you put nice, positive things out there, you get it back. Absolutely, you get it back. And I spent a lot of time putting out a lot of opinions that I shouldn't have, and in places where no one asked. We've got every drag queen watching now going, that was me. I shared a lot of opinions that no one asked for, and I felt entitled to say that, and I wasn't, and I shouldn't have. But I've learned now that I can take a step back, and if I see someone making a mistake I've made, I have to let them make it because I learned from it.
Yeah, I think you're absolutely right. Obviously, you both know my first experience in my first lockdown. I didn't leave the house for four months, maybe. Other than unless I was in drag. I was off work for 6 months and I didn't leave the house.
Through the door.
Well, no, because that didn't happen. I got fat during lockdown. I wasn't fat at this point. That's why I've got these tits. It's like a body corset as well. Holds my chest in. But yeah, I obviously had my anxiety just went mental, and my ability to relate to people or do anything that involved people just completely dissipated. So when we went into the second lockdown, it just made everything worse. And it's literally only been, so I only went back to work in December. And I finally feel like, oh my God, I can leave the house as Leon. I can go and do things, and well, when we're fucking allowed to. But I can do things and kind of function. And I think everybody, so whether you have had any kind of mental health issues before or not, I think everybody that experienced the lockdown, it was a challenge in a different way for everybody, and it was a challenge to people's mental health because you were forced to sit with yourself. And that's really, really hard to do if you've not done it before.
Because everyone's their biggest critic. Everyone is their biggest critic.
Yeah, like it was a long time of like just sitting there, and it was almost like a massive kind of, I had to learn to hate myself before I could learn to love myself. Like, absolutely. Genuinely, like I'm on it with the little one-liners tonight, aren't I? Someone's writing these down.
I think so. I think what you done, we say, I don't think you learned to hate yourself, but I think you learned to see what other people saw. Yeah. And that to me is what you've worked on, is how you see yourself. What's that?
Aren't they lucky that this is what they get to see?
I mean, I'm waiting for this to happen where like we've got a drag therapy thing and there's just us three sitting there going, no, you're shit. You're actually shit. It's not even true.
You're actually a terrible person.
Like, if this isn't the drag idol judging lineup, something's gone wrong.
We're getting the niceties out because we're doing the roast on Saturday.
This is like the anti-roast. I feel like that would be harder for queens, though. Imagine if you all had to pay compliments to each other.
So, no, because let me tell you, with the roast, one of the things that people forget, and I've actually made a point of reminding everybody, in a roast, you can't just come in and bam, bam, bam. There has to be a level of respect there to allow you to say what you're going to say. So it has, they say it every time they do a roast on Drag Race. It's like, I love you, but you do this a lot and it's fucking terrible. You're an awful person, but I like it. Do you know what I mean? It's getting that balance. So, yeah, I'm really looking forward to the roast.
a roast joke, for some tips for Mixie if she's watching. A roast joke has to be like here's a compliment, but it's actually not a compliment.
It's like the Miss Holy Shit sandwich, but without the other bit of bread.
Yeah.
Like, you kind of tease them in, and then you go, but.
It's a shit cupcake.
Yeah.
Yes. And that's the thing. There's so many ways you can deliver it, but it has to have that nicety.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
It's the shadiest shade you can throw.
Yeah. And it's just thinking of, like, awful things. Like, I literally took, so I'd said to Plastiq, I'd sat and wrote my, like, what my jokes are. And it literally took me 10 minutes because it's just all the awful things that I've ever thought about other people. But now I get to say it to my friends. Do you know what I mean?
I'm so glad I'm not in it. The lovely Alan has asked, do you think lockdowns made you be more respectful of mental health issues?
I
feel like for us,
I don't think I've ever been
had our moments anyway.
Yeah, like I've had really poor mental health. Not so much now, but for the past 3 years, and I've been very open with it with everybody because I don't see the point in a stigma around it. I think it's a very much a generational thing. The stigma.
Yeah,
I'm part of that generation because I'm an old cunt, but I kind of dropped my stigma, and I think I've just been open. So I think because I've went through my own mental health, that's made me more respectful of other people's mental health issues.
I'm definitely coming out this more tolerant with people. Because not just
I never said I was tolerant.
Like, I just feel like if I can take an extra 30 seconds to listen to a couple more sentences before I make a judgment, it's not going to hurt.
Yeah.
Mm,
Depending who it is.
yeah.
30 seconds,
I don't
go.
think. Well, no. But yeah, like, I don't think anyone here has ever been disrespectful of mental health issues.
No.
I think we've all. You're talking to the wrong bunch of people if you think we haven't all had our problems. So, like,
Look at what we do for a living. Come on.
Yeah. No one does this from a good upbringing and a great mental health. Like I mentioned it like as a joke at the beginning, but like I'm a suicide. Do we say suicide survivor? Is that the correct terminology? Like
I never know the terminology anymore, but yeah.
Like I understand mental health issues. I have been so worried. I think Pebble, you can probably relate. We both do the same job.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm a team leader in a call center. My entire team, a lot of them are alone, a lot of them are working from home. They're isolated 24 hours a day. Like my main focus for like the people that I care for at work are, how are you? How's your mental health? Like what's going on? Because this level of like being alone is just, it's not, humans aren't meant to live this way. We were never designed to live like stuck indoors. Even like from like when humans were dots, we were grouped. So this is so bizarre, and so hopefully something we never have to deal with again after this year, until we get like COVID-21. But like it's touch, but like it's I think anyone intolerant of mental health issues really needs to take a good hard look at yourself as you're a country. There you go.
Yeah, I think there's a level. I agree with you, but I do also think there's still so much education needed around mental health. Everything for school up is focused on physical health, and if you're fit, you won't have any mental health issues and things like that. And I think there's fear around mental health issues.
Yeah.
There's a lot of fear around talking about it, especially. We still live in a world of like toxic masculinity and forced hyper-femininity and things like that, where that again kind of causes this like digression between what you are and what you should be to the public. So I think talking about it is the best thing you can do.
Do you think as LGBTQ people, we are conditioned to go to alcohol as a first option as well? Because the scene is where we're told we have to socialize and we're told we have to do this. That's the only place we can meet like-minded people. Do you think that's the thing? Do you think we're alcoholics by cause?
I think
Alcohol and drugs.
she sees that she's pouring herself a drink.
Well, no, but like
it's a genuine question, though. It is a genuine question. Do you think we drink more because we are LGBTQ?
I don't.
I can't name many gay museums.
I mean, there's the Hancock.
No, but like genuine, like I don't think of like gay coffee shops, gay museums, gay yoga classes, gay whatever, gay bars. That's where gays go. Gays go to bars.
Yeah.
I think alcohol's rooted in queer culture. I don't think it's particularly healthy, and as all of us know from working in bars, you see people come in who are having a drink, who should not be having a drink.
Yeah. I had a totally different experience to you two,
yeah.
though. So I grew up in the alternative scene, which didn't really have a straight or gay. Everybody, in 2007, everybody was an emo. Everyone was experimenting with bisexuality. So I didn't really go to gay bars that like regularly until I moved here. And that's only been like 5 or so years. And look what the fuck you done to me.
Do you think that's had an adverse effect on you though? Like looking at mental health and things like that? Do you think coming to gay bars is kind of
not coming to gay bars?
For me, growing up in the alternative scene's just as bad for mental health. I mean, I was an emo. Like, you know what I mean? Like, if you didn't have a razor blade, you weren't cool.
So for me, growing up where I grew up, I am obviously closer in age with Penny than I am with Plastiq. So growing up where I grew up, there was nothing
just
gay
around.
Just
as the oldest bitch. All right, that's fine.
I say that I'm in the same age group. You say the oldest. But where I grew up, there was nothing gay. So actually, the hindrance that it caused for me was that I held a lot of internalized homophobia. I I used to think that I hated gay pride and that I didn't see the point in gay pride. I used to have the argument of, well, why isn't there a straight pride? Like, I used to have that argument, and I was gay, because for me it was just something that never was within my realm of reality. For me, being gay still is the least important part of who I am. Me being gay is only going to affect one other person, and that's the person I'm sleeping with. So for me, but now I have a lot more pride in my expression, my gender expression, my sexuality, and things like that. There's still sometimes I've caught myself like maybe being with one of my friends who is way more camp than I am, or way more kind of hyper feminine or something. Not you, me, or hyper feminine than I am. And I'll catch myself doing the thing that comes with my age group of, oh, are other people going to think I'm this camp? Are other people going to expect this gayness from me? Because everyone's gayness is actually such an intrinsically personal thing. So I used to, back home, I hate gay people. I hate gays. I didn't like gays. I'm not hanging about with gays. I've came down here. This happened. You guys happened. But I changed my view. And do you know what? Genuinely, one of the things that actually started changing my view was Drag Race. I never knew a lot of my gay history until I watched Drag Race for the first time. And that awareness of what happened made me look into it more myself, made me look more at UK history. And now, obviously, I'm a massive advocate for gay rights. I try and do as much as I can for pride and stuff. But I don't think necessarily that the gay scene in alcohol is where the problem is. I think actually societal expectations of gayness is what leads to the alcoholism. We're under a microscope. There's, apart from transgender people now, there's no other group whose sex life is so scrutinised by the mass public and the mass media, because actually that's their focus. Nobody says that they hate gay men, really. What they actually mean is they hate men that fuck men, or they hate women that fuck women. That's the problem. Yeah. That's where it stems from. So, yeah, I think because I was so heavily involved in the kind of quote-unquote straight scene, my experience was so different. And it was the gay scene that helped me. I was a druggie in the gay scene. I was an alcoholic in the in the straight scene. I drank all the time in the straight scene. So I had the same experiences. So I think actually it's not the scene, it's the queer life that leads to the alcohol. Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Oh, that was a tangent.
That was a moment. I love it. Plastiq, what about you? What do you think? What's your take on it?
Well, definitely being around the gay scene. I think if I wasn't gay, I don't know. If I never did drugs until gay scene. I did drugs because everyone around me was doing drugs. I wasn't really a drinker until I drank in parks as a kid. And then I was like, yeah, I'm over it. I did all my drinking when I was 15. And then it was like, oh, but should we go to Pink Room after work? Obviously, before I was a host and DJ, it was like, after Boulevard, should we go to Pink Room after work? Back when it was like £2.50 for a treble. Can you remember that? Oh, well, that was a nightmare. So
back when I had work.
Kind of I mean, right now, none of us. It definitely, I don't know. I feel like I'm a party person. I feel like that's kind of who I am anyway.
Absolutely.
I like to host parties. I like to have parties in the house. Obviously, when it's safe to do so, not all the time. I like to. I'm not currently hosting a house party with you all. Shut up. I'm not currently hosting a house party. No, but I think I'm that kind of person where it would happen. I think being on the gay scene, I definitely dealt with my problems with alcohol though, because it was like, oh, I feel sad. I'm gonna go out, because especially back when I was feeling sad, someone was gonna be out every night that you'd bump into and you'd know. So you might as well just go out And you weren't even going out for the drink. You were going out to bump into someone you know and have a laugh. But you couldn't do that without a drink in your hand because then you were the weird one. There's been nights I've went out and had a lemonade and when can you put a lime in it? So I look like I'm drinking gin just so I've had company.
You do get judged though. When you go out, if you ask for a
100%.
lemonade, you will get, what's that? Oh, it's a lemonade.
Yeah.
Dear, get a vodka in it. It's only an extra 50 pence. Get a vodka.
Yeah.
It's that
That's the thing.
moment.
So.
It's so accessible. Like for me, when I was working the bar shifts, I'd finish work and be like, I don't quite want to go home just yet. I don't feel like my day is done. So I'd hang around and I'd have one after work, which was the most famous last words ever. I'm having one after work. And then 2 o'clock, I'd be getting kicked out the yard. And I'd be like, why am I doing this? Like, why is this a thing? And to me, it feels like
gone.
Exactly. I was spending more on a daytime than I was earning on the bar. And it was just like, I'm doing it because I want to be around people. But why am I craving that interaction? Something's obviously missing if I'm craving that interaction. And what lockdown helped me find out is that it was me. I was missing myself. I was missing having some sort of self space that I could go into. I could go in and be myself in my own space and enjoy it. That's a massive breakthrough when you want to do it. Like enjoying your own personality.
I've got a friend.
I mean, no one else has to enjoy it then. That's fine.
Like I've got a friend, I won't mention their name, but I've got a friend who constantly either has to kind of be in relationships or be with people, and they can't just sit in the house. They can't just sit and like watching it.
We were both thinking it.
Right, but like you get friends like that who can't enjoy their own company, and it's so hard. Like if you compare it to like Marco, who like will sit in the house all day, every day, go to work, come back, and just enjoys like putting a record on, gay like that, and she puts a record on, and like just lies there and let me grab my record. Tell me that, but like, but you need to learn to kind of. I love nothing more than my own kind of space, even being in a relationship. I've got like. You get like your secret single behavior, which sounds like I'm ungrounded. That's not what I mean. But I mean, like, sometimes I like to stand in the kitchen in nothing but a t-shirt and like watch videos on TikTok. And I don't know why I do it standing. It's probably because I'm next to the biscuit tin. But I like to stand there and do it in my boxers and a t-shirt and do that for like 4 hours when Daniel's not in the house. Oh, I love it. Like, it's that kind of thing. That is my... For those 4 hours, I could be crying, but no. I'm on TikTok.
It's so weird
crying on TikTok.
It's so weird hearing you say it because I have the opposite. Whereas I love my own company so much that I need to push myself to go out.
Ooh.
That's my issue is kind of the opposite. Where I love being by myself so much. I am thoroughly entertained by myself. I don't need other people around me, but I have to push myself and make sure that I do go and see people and be around people. So like Penny, you know this, but not most people don't. Actually, when I work on a Thursday, usually not during the lockdown, but when I work on a Thursday, I don't drink. I'm sober on a Thursday.
One of my favorite things about the day, like the Thursdays when you used to turn up, is you always turned up like 2 hours early to get your social in. You got your social in really early, and then you could go and talk to customers.
Because then I'm working, because I've been during lockdown, I've been in my house by myself. So I need to be able to socialise, and then I need to go and turn Pebble on and do my job.
Yeah.
And that's like another step.
What does it take to turn Pebble on?
Haggis.
Oh. Golden Wonder salt and vinegar crisps.
Oh, girl.
Oof. Now you're
talking. Lovely. We've got a question from the lovely Sushi Buffet. Do you think drag as an art form sometimes plays into the hyper-femininity? And conversely, do you have any thoughts of drag as a send-up to femininity? Because you're obviously very feminine-looking queens.
Who?
She's talking to me.
What do you think about the femininity of drag? Do you think it plays into it?
I think so. I think it's an individual thing. So I think a send up of femininity can become it's a very fine line. It can become offensive. My drag character is hypersexualized, hyper feminine, obviously, and it's feminine tropes, what's perceived as femininity in society. And for me, it juxtaposes my humor, which is really dark, my voice, which there's no hiding this. So that juxtaposition works really well. So my drag was more informed by character choice rather than let me be the most feminine or the most this presenting or the most that presenting. For me, my choice is that I will never, well, my choice was always like I would never perform a male song because it's confusing with what you see on stage. But the more I said it, the more I thought, actually, no, that's funnier if I do a guy's song while I look like this. Do you know what I mean? I try my hardest not to make it a pastiche of womanhood or femininity or anything to do with either cis female experience or trans female experience. I think all of us, certainly myself, is guilty in the past. We all watched Christian Siriano with his hot tea mess. We've all been guilty of using that language within drag to express ourselves and actually came to realise, yeah, we've all done it.
And we're still very much in the process of
we'll always learn.
Evolving with the language and learning how to navigate life.
Yeah. I dislike the witch hunt.
I find
people need to remember, if you're offended by it, part of that is a choice that you've made. Whatever you're offended by, not a choice, but you got to see Jack reacting. Part of that is not a choice that you've made, but you get to choose how you react to that. So if you educate why I'm offended, I'll listen and I'll take it in. If you attack, you're doing yourself a disservice and you're doing what you're standing for a disservice. Conversation is the most important tool that we have. And if we're just shutting people down because we don't like what they're doing, actually, we're being worse than them because we're getting rid of the discourse and we're getting rid of communication and we're getting rid. Other people have to have opinions. They have to have different opinions. If they don't, then it would be so boring. But as I say, when it comes to like the pastiche womanhood, I try not to do it. I try not to do the whole like playing a specific female or anything like that. Mine's is very much just like my drag. I like the look of hyper femininity, although it's a masculine person presenting that. I enjoy that. But I think Plastiq's drag and person has obviously evolved quite a lot. So I think you should talk more about this.
Yeah, I think there's definitely been an evolution. When I first started, I thought drag was what Rory wore. Like in reality, like it explains probably why I looked the way I did in my earlier years. That was drag to me. That's what I seen. It was feathers, it was rhinestones and whatever. I've now come to realise my drag is a lot more casual. My drag is just an extension of me being a non-binary person. My drag is just the most feminine that I will be. Whereas like me in sweatpants and like a beanie is probably the most masculine I will be. This is just the far end of the scale on this side for me. It's not necessarily drag anymore. This is just me being me, but in this outfit.
But hyper female.
Which is I'm casual. Like I wouldn't say Plastiq is female. I wouldn't say Jack is male. I wouldn't say like me, Jack, or Plastiq is a non-binary person who dresses however on whatever day. That's just kind of it. Like drag to me's got a lot more wishy-washy where it's just like, maybe I'll wear a wig today, and like maybe I'll not wear a wig today, and maybe sometimes I'll go to the office in a pair of heels or maybe whatever. Like it's this is like, for me, this was like, I love getting ready for a look. Like, I love the excitement of planning a look. Like, even tonight, I was like, okay, so we're going on Penny's show. It's press for the row. I'll just put that nail down there. That's where I wanted it to go. It's press for the roast, you know what I mean? So we'll get ready like it's press day. Like that was like, my outfits are always like the descriptions on a Barbie doll. It's always like, press Barbie. This is my
PR
press.
Barbie. PR Barbie.
Yeah, that's kind of where I like to think I'm more of a celebrity than I am. So I always treat everything
Don't
like,
we all?
what would a celebrity do in this situation? Like, if it was Lady Gaga's got a new album and they're going on a Facebook live stream on Tuesday to promote it, what would she wear? Well, her album's like whatever, she dresses whatever. It's like how I treat my drag now. If I'm on stage, I want to dress how a pop star dresses on stage. Like, I'm me being me. But like, I've definitely got a lot more casual as time's gone on. And people might call it laziness, but it's really just more, it's being comfortable, but not in the sweatpants comfortable. It's being comfortable in my own skin.
I'm trying to scroll back through the comments. I'm not trying to cut you short or anything, Plastiq, but I'm trying to scroll back through the comments because we've spent a lot of time on those topics, and there's so many comments. But at the same time, I love an actual conversation. I love actual conversations. Like, so as a non-binary person yourself, do you have any advice that you would give to people who want to wear the heels out of the house but don't, or want to express themselves as a non-binary person but still feel themselves stuck to a very much to the binary?
I work in a very, it's not a masculine environment, it's not a feminine environment, where we have the correct numbers of people in each place for diversity. Like, we're very good as a company at that. The other kind of management team are, you know, lads that wear tracksuits and like hoodies, like they're those kind of lads. For me, it was a case of, and albeit I am a lot more confident than most. I'm very confident as a person. It's been a journey, but I am. So for me, I was like, I'm just going to do it. My advice would be just do it, because you will be surprised how little people bat an eyelid. I wear heels on Tesco. And
how is she anyway?
Dead, dear.
Roomy. No. But no, I wear heels around like Tesco, Asda, whatever, like, because that's the only time I can get dressed up to leave the house these days. I work from home. Like, that's when I wear my outfits. But like, I've maybe noticed once someone going, once. It probably happens a lot more, but I don't pay attention to it. It's got to be a personal kind of like, and as soon as like we can go anywhere, if I like round up all the non-binary people like the Pied Piper and we all walk through Tesco's in with heels, I'm okay with that. But it has to come from like a personal confidence of like, no one's looking and no one cares, and if they do care, they don't matter. That's it.
Penny, where do you fall? Where do you consider yourself within
I'm definitely somewhere in the gender non-conforming. I haven't quite found a niche or anything yet, but I'm definitely.
Nor do you have to.
Like, I haven't settled anywhere in between yet. But I'm definitely not male or female. I fall somewhere in between, and I just haven't I haven't found my moment yet, as such. Like, thinking about it rather than a spectrum.
The thing is, as soon as we like start going, like, this is the spectrum, as soon as we put numbers on that spectrum, it's binary. Like, let's just remember, the definition. Like, we're trying to avoid that. Like, you're not here and you're not here and you're somewhere here. Welcome to my family. Like, we're a crazy bunch of people, and I think a lot more people fall on the spectrum than they realize.
Absolutely.
I think I probably, out of the three of us, fall more into societal norms.
Yeah.
But that's, so for instance, I have always said that I would never do male presenting drag because I think
Whereas I
Leon's like,
revel in it. I love myself some male
yeah.
presenting drag.
But for
I
me,
can
I think
amp that shit
Leon
up.
is like a male drag queen. Leon's got his highlight and all that shit. Pebbles, I feel like Leon and Pebble are the same person. It's just the two versions of that same person.
Yeah.
My character, I say character because it's easier to understand if you say character. But Pebble is just an amplified Leon. Do you know what I mean? I feel more comfortable doing the more feminine presenting things in drag, but I still do the same shit as a boy. I just don't have a wig on.
See,
And I'll wear
think-
heels to the pub if I want to wear heels to the pub.
Like,
I mean,
even going
hats
back
off to you. Sorry, you go.
You go, girl. You go. You're the guest.
I was just going to say hats off to you because I know you say you don't like doing male presenting drag and stuff, and like I just think it's so brave that you attempted tonight. Just for tonight, so I think that's really special.
I always loved my male presenting drag. I always loved doing a bit of boy drag. Like going back to working with Sush, like I love the male roles because there's nothing funnier than a hyper feminine male role, and that's how I always
Yeah.
worked it. My
But I
Danny
think
from
I'm
Greece
quite a
was the
feminine
campest Danny
guy.
from Greece has ever been. Like, it's just so much more fun that
I think
way.
we do the opposite. I think you butch up your drag, and I think I feminize my male presenting. I think we do the opposite, but in a similar way. So, like when I have a full beard and I wear my human like wet hair, like that's me just like feminizing my butch, whereas you butch up your femme. We do the opposite, but in a very similar way.
Like I always felt my prettiest working without a wig. I always did.
Mm-hmm.
Like I always thought that was my best looks. And don't get me wrong, like it was terrible. But in my head I felt I mean, where's the lie?
Sometimes it was.
I felt so comfortable those nights. They were my nights to explore myself more than anything. And I thoroughly loved those nights where I could literally, without doing it, let my hair down and be true to what I wanted to do. And they were the nights that the music was better, the atmosphere was better, and everything fit more because my shoulders were down. I didn't have my ankles up. I didn't have any of that. Like, it's such a strange conversation to have with yourself rather than anyone else. To kind of
Your no wig looks are my skinny jean looks. It's that. It's like I've never felt my best when I was in like a skinny jean and a t-shirt and like a tossy like flippy round wig. Because that was like, oh my god, this is amazing.
We've lived and we've learned, and we're never doing them again.
I would still probably do them now. Like I think I would maybe rhinestone the jeans, but like I like rhinestone your hair. Like we'll do something.
I'll wear a full wig cap of rhinestones. I'm happy with that.
Don't say wig cap. Tess will be triggered.
I'm not even wearing one tonight. Sorry, Tess.
I don't have one either.
I'm wearing a hard front on a fucking Tuesday. Fuck it.
Is that a hard front?
It's a hard front.
It's really good.
Thanks. It's Mona's. It's a Mona. It's a Mona.
I really like it.
If you go back and watch the first live that I did, which was Penny for Your Thoughts on the Wednesday, this is that hair but restyled.
I
just kind of Daniel and me just
bag,
together.
I literally had this in a bag. That'll do.
Where are we at? Question. Comments, questions. Tony the Dog was triggered by wig caps. Penny, is this Mona? This is actually Mona on my head. What else have we got? As long as you're comfortable, everyone else can be. It's true. Look amazing. Of course we do. Thanks, Latrine.
Hi, Latrine.
Hi, Latrine.
What else we got? God, there's all sorts of comments. Any questions, please get them in. Let us know. So we've got Miss Izzy Loads saying, been doing drag for 20 years. Where do you see yourself in 1 year's time, 1 year, just 1 year.
1 year.
Ooh,
One.
okay. No, but this is a good
year.
year for us to answer this question because we're saying yes. I think for me, and I think for Pebble, and I think for Penny, I can speak on behalf of all of us. We all seem to be enjoying creating content throughout kind of lockdown. And we've all kind of enjoyed this, by the way. I love this. I feel like I'm on Graham Norton. Like, this is great. Plastiq critiques. I love it. Like, I love having a guest on and I love talking about shit. I love doing my makeup on camera. Pebble's podcast, great. I loved it. This is half an hour this morning. Didn't finish it. I was busy. But it's like we like doing kind of the content creation is great. And what I really hope and kind of pray for all drag artists is that, yes, June 21st, it's going to be amazing. We're all going to be back. Please don't lose this. Like, please let's not let this go. Because, like, it might not be 9 o'clock on a Tuesday night because we might be in the bar. But, like, I've pre-recorded one of these on a YouTube. It's going to be great for me.
Absolutely.
I'm going to love that. Like, I think we really all kind of, we wasted the first 2 lockdowns, but the third one, we really amped up. So I hope in a year's time, this is what I'm still doing. I hope I'm still sat on a live stream. I hope I'm still kind of creating content on YouTube. I hope I've got a gig in a bar. That'd be lovely. Like,
that would be nice.
Yeah, that would be lovely. I hope I can pay the rent by wearing a wig, but I don't want to lose this. This is too good. This is better than any, like, not just this, but like the whole, what we're doing, the sickenings that Teresa did, the shows that Frida and Ivy do, everything like that is a lot better than any of the content that we were putting out in the bars. So, like, let's not lose this, everyone.
Absolutely.
That goes to all the drag queens watching as well.
Yeah, I 100% echo what you're saying. What's been nice for me is during lockdown, all the drag queens have got to get a little example of how I've been living doing drag.
I am listening. I'm always, just believe.
Oh, that's fine. I've obviously always worked full time and done drag as an extra on top while having obviously working at the yard and stuff. But no, absolutely want people to keep doing the live stuff because actually this gets more engagement and this is more encouraging to people so that if we do have a show at Sunday Night Live or wherever, it's more encouraging for people to come and see you because, I've seen you online. People who maybe don't go to the scene frequently are getting a chance to see us do things that they've not normally got to. Even if you look at like Gladys and Teresa and Trav with Billy Bootleggers, that was kind of the catalyst for that because that was taking it off the scene and getting a different crowd of people who haven't experienced it. So I definitely think doing the online stuff. I mean, what I really wish is somebody would just set up a good events management team, but you know, that might happen in the future.
Well, while Penny's not here, I'll take over as interviewer. Just between us, what the fuck's going on with Penny's Stranger Things wall back there?
I love it. I love those.
I mean, at least they're not the same.
Are you joking? As we are fucking. It's 1 meter is strands, and each strand is 30 inches apart.
But let's just say, speaking of these backdrops, if you haven't seen myself, Pebble, Lucifer, and Illuminati doing breakup song by Little Mix, please head over to like my Instagram. It's on my IGTV. My Instagram's @Plastiq, and please give it a watch. It took a long time to edit, and it was fully worth it. It was our little Valentine's Day treat to you all. So go give that a watch.
I legit watched it and I was like, oh my god, glitterwallforqueens.com, we love it. It's a real thing.
Amazon.
Honestly, I do apologise for having run off. My body gets to 11 o'clock or around 11 o'clock and it's still in karaoke mode on a Tuesday. And it goes, you need to go and have a little vom. Go have a little vom. You haven't had a drink, go have a little vom. It's very healthy. Cheers, girls.
Cheers. I haven't had a shot in ages, actually. I'm gonna.
Any more questions? Get them in.
I'm gonna get a glass for this tequila.
I've thoroughly enjoyed tonight, girls, because it's been a proper moment where we've actually had some educations. I do love a little education.
Yeah, I think I think we're older queens, maybe lived a bit more. I'm the youngest queen out of the 3 of us. Like, I'm the newest drag queen out of the 3 of us. But myself and you, Penny, we're obviously a little bit older than Jack. So I think us three have such different experience of things that makes it an easy conversation. And I love that you two are on a screen together.
Do you know what? The thing is, it's so like I am so beyond anything that's happened kind of before lockdown. Like I said before, I'm a different person now than I was back then. A lot of growth, a lot of personal growth. So I'm just feel very natural.
I had this conversation with Akrit the other day where I've been nice to so many people during lockdown. I don't quite know what I'm going to do when they come up and talk to me in person. Like, I'm not going to be prepared. I'm not going to be prepared to actually socialize face to face anymore.
Let's interview the interviewer. Do you think when the bars open again, you'll be influenced by the scene and revert back to what you were? Or do you think your growth will stay?
Yeah. I've spent too many years being judgmental and horrid and up myself to a degree. Like, it was never all the time. It was very much as and when it happened. But I've spent too many years doing that and not being happy. And now that I'm actually happier in myself, I can listen to other people and appreciate other people a lot more and actually give them the time of day and learn from them as well. Like, I'm watching people like Tess who are doing the brand new starting out in drag, giving everything a moment and trying everything. And I'm like, why the fuck aren't I trying it? Like, why am I not trying that shit?
Yeah.
And I've relied too long on, well, I did it back then. So now I'm gonna bring shit back. I'm gonna actually.
That was the you that I met. That was the Penny I met. Oh, I've done it. Oh, I've done that. I've done that.
And no one knew any of it. No one had seen it. No one knew any of it. All they knew was I was a drag idol judge for 4 years, and that's why they kind of knew who almost I was. No, I'm gonna bring some shit.
Can I also just say, I won't let either of you turn back.
I don't think you're going to have that problem. I it's not something that's ever in my itinerary.
My issue will be if other people test me. I bite so easily, and I think that's kind of like where my issue will be. And like, I mean, we'll see how many more like vodkas I get.
I was going to say, give it until wait until I've had like this much more, and we'll see where we're at.
She'll start stroking her fucking pebble around her neck and casting spells somewhere. Give it 2 minutes.
I also think, though, we're all kind of in the same boat. I think we're all in the same boat when it comes to none of us have been in massive social gatherings where we have a role that is important to that gathering and people are drunk and saying shit. Because one of the things that I think everyone has to remember, especially you have been through this big change over the past few lockdowns, but it's also not your right to expect everyone else to accept or expect that change of you. So although you've changed, other people might not think you've changed. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So how other people react to you.
I'm not expecting any leeway for my past because of who I am now.
Yes, like people might test you, and it's up to you. Because listen, you both know I bite. If somebody says anything to me, I will bite. I'll bite back. But there's a way to do it, and I feel like you, especially Plastiq, your bite back now hurts less. I don't know if it's because you've had your teeth fixed, but your bite back now hurts less.
But like, no,
but it does.
Right, but this is the thing. For me, I was always considered funny and shady. And like bitchy, but funny and shady with that. Until the one time it all went to shit. And then suddenly, through rose-coloured glasses, it was Jack's a cunt. Well, no, Jack's the same person I was 2 weeks ago. But now, because it's all blown up online, I'm not that person. Well, hold on. Let's get with perspectives in order here. Like, who did you know 2 weeks ago? Like that's been my main issue. Like I don't think I never wanted to change who I was when I started. I enjoyed being Jack Plastiq as bitchy and funny and catty because that was like who I was. It was mini Miss Rory, but like God did it work for me, and God did it
Oh,
get me every day
absolutely,
under the sun.
absolutely.
Like, and then for the one time it to all go, oh no, actually this is it. It was damaging. Like I've spent the last kind of 3 years recovering from that. And yeah, it's changed me as a person. But if that hadn't happened, would I been more successful now? Because I'd still be working on the person I already was.
I mean, I don't feel like you can ever be more successful than what you're doing at the time.
Yeah.
Like you can be making more money or you can have more exposure, but success, I don't feel like you can measure it that way.
The
Like
person you are now would be successful and happy. The person you were then would have been successful and alone. And I would rather be happy than alone.
I think this is why I kind of relate to Plastiq so much, and I feel like that's why our mini little fallout that lasted 5 years was a thing.
No,
it's because
but this
I
is
saw
how I
you
want the
making the
fallout to
mistakes
be.
I made. I saw you doing exactly what I did to get myself onto the scene. Because I was there and I had to work against Vicky Paris and Ophelia and Kitty, and I had to get the work against those kind of queens. And I did everything I could to do it, and I did. And then 10 years down the line, Plastiq turns up taking on me and Gloria and Sush and like doing exactly what I did, and it came back to bite me in the ass. But I was trying to help, but I didn't know how to do it in a positive way because I was on the other side. I was like, girl, I don't want to lose my job.
Yeah.
No.
And I think, like, I was very lucky to start drag when I started drag. I didn't start drag in a saturated time.
Yeah,
like
you started
for
just at
Pebble,
the right time.
or just in the right minute,
Just on
didn't
the
I?
cusp.
Just like if I'd been the drag idol the year after, I wouldn't have made it past week 1, and I would not. Like I was very lucky to get where I got. I was very lucky that people like Adrian took me on a Sunday. That was like it made a huge difference to my life. The fact that Penny helped me get into Bank Bar, Gloria helped me get into Pink Room. Like I've had those kind of moments where the right people have went, come here, it's all right, we've got you. You just go over there. Why don't you do this charity show? And God, did I work for free? And God, did I do every gig that I could? And like, like I've worked for free more than the cast of Sunday Night Live. That's a lot. Okay. But like I did all those free gigs and God, did it get me somewhere? Did I peak too soon? Perhaps. But I made a living off it. Before the lockdown, my living was drag. Is that not the goal? Yeah, probably. And yeah, I did it. Go me.
Absolutely. Like Pebble, you worked in drag as well, like 3 days a week, was it?
2 days a week, Thursday, Saturday.
But you thoroughly enjoyed those days, and you were doing exactly where you wanted to be in drag at the time.
Yeah.
Like you went, I don't want to be the host. I don't want to do the DJing. I want to do this side of it for now, and that's where I'm concentrating.
Yeah, I feel similar to Jack in the sense of I feel like Pebble came along at the right moment because I've also been very lucky. I was working in drag before I was in Drag Idol. So like I was very lucky to be a new queen on the scene and kind of be able to find work and to have queens around me, be supportive and stuff. Because I've only been doing drag in Newcastle for 2.5 years, coming up to 3 years. So it's really not been that long. And I was lucky kind of obviously doing Vamp and then Drag Idol and stuff. And then meeting Plastiq. Me and Plastiq hated each other. But
no, we didn't hate each other. We didn't hate each other.
we were annoyed by each other.
You asked me out on a date and I said no. And then you have got this narrative that we hate each other.
They love this story. So
The
I
guy.
had just split up with my fiance and had no friends in Newcastle. And it was like, well, a drag queen's going to know everybody. So I was like, oh, like, do you want to go for a coffee or something? And Plastiq and her ego was like, oh, they're asking me on a date. They fancy me. He's in love with me.
I don't know what
how many-
Plastic used to go for coffees all the time.
How many people have came up to you at the DJ box and said, would you like to go for a coffee, and then not a crossy chaser? Cheers.
Cheers, guys.
Like, only 2.
I only used to get teen abortion.
Well, she's worked her way through them, hasn't she? She's watching.
But yeah, so I've been very lucky with where I've got to doing drag as well. And obviously I've got, like, I'm really lucky that when we talk about, like, groups, I've got, like, all of my SNL family and then all my Yard family, and there's more and more of a crossover in that now as well. Plastiq, when you're working, will come and see me at the Yard and say hi to everybody, and then I'll come over to Pink Room after with my trainers on, but still in full drag, with my wet
Some of my
cap.
favourite shifts, like if I was ever covering Mother on a Sunday afternoon, and Plastiq used to wander along and be like, "How is it?" And we used to have a little catch up outside the bar and be like, "It's doing this. How's yours going?" And the whole scene was very balanced. It was never anyone was winning or it was a competition. It was literally, "How's your day going?"
Well, me and Gladys is the perfect example of that, and I know she's probably watching. Gladys, I would go along every Wednesday, and I'd go, "How's it?" And she'd go, "Oh, it's all right. We've got about 15." I was like, "Well, I've got about 20 in here, and they're probably going to leave soon and come to you." And she's like, "Oh, well, these 15 are going to leave and come to you." And we'd swap customers all night. And Gladys would go. So customer would go to the karaoke on. No, but Plastiq's down the street and customers would go to me. Are you going to do a show? I'm going to go. No, but Gladys is up the street and she does a show all night. We swap our customers because that keeps the bars busy. And as much as we might be rival companies, we're one scene. And it's
I feel like that's something we've got a lot closer to recently. I feel like in the past 3 years, the whole scene itself has kind of gone, actually, let's do this together again. But that's through the queens. It might not be the companies, but the queens themselves have gone, we'll do this together. We'll make it work.
Things like the Shady Ball.
Listen, the companies need to listen because, the Metro Radio Arena is moving. Okay, that is going to go soon. It's going to Gateshead. We are not going to get dropped by traffic. As a scene, this is me, an American flag's going to drop down in a minute. We need to work together because we're not going to have a lot left. The only pull for non-queer people down the scene is Boulevard. And we're not going to have the Metro Radio Arena anymore. Queer people now, younger queer people, don't necessarily feel the need to go to a gay bar because LGBT rights are more accepted. I've seen people younger than me prefer to go to House of Smith, they prefer to go to Chop Chop and stuff like that. We need to work as a group to keep things at the scene and make the scene somewhere that people want to come to. Otherwise, we're all going to be out of work because I can't imagine me DJing at Chop Chop or Pebble selling shots at House of Smith.
I can see that though. I can see that. But no, that's exactly the thing. We need to make the scene again. We need to bring it back to being such an entity in itself that we want to be there. Susha said it's how it used to be when Penny and me were back in our early days. Glad to hear it's coming back to the scene. We used to have nights where people would actively travel around the scene, different bars, different times. And it was amazing. Cabaret was on in every bar, but they staggered them throughout the night. So people could go and see every bit of cabaret, and every bar would make a fifth of the money, but they made it in their turn. Operators, please listen. Please bring it back.
Do you think people still want cabaret?
Absolutely.
I think people are going to want cabaret more now than they ever have. Because I think because so many queens are doing online stuff, people are realising what we lose not having cabaret, and they want to support us.
But I think people just want to, if I go back into a bar, I want to be entertained.
Yeah.
If I've spent this
Even
long,
if it's
if I've spent this long looking at something on a screen, I don't want to see someone stood at a DJ box. I want to see something happen in person, like real life people. Like I'm not going to touch the hair, but real life people.
that's why like Gladys and Mother, that's still cabaret what they do when they're hosting,
They're
because it's
Sunday
a constant
afternoons.
all night event going on.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think people definitely still want cabaret. It's partly why, listen, Plastiq,
Well, I'm so
we
glad
do
I didn't throw in
cabaret.
my pink wig.
We do cabaret at 2:00 in the morning, and we still love it. And the 15 people that are there absolutely love it because they're more out and they'll.
We always have more than 15 people. Can we please not
I know, I'm
undersell?
sorry. I
I was going to say, I was just
We always have
thinking
more
about
than 50.
regard at that time. I don't know.
But even the night the students turned up, remember the night
Oh.
the other year when the students all were out, and we
It
were a
was
bit like,
Sunday Night
is
Live.
cabaret going to ruin this?
Sunday Night Live, one hit wonders. The students turned up. I, for some reason, thought it would be the perfect night to sing live. Oh my God, what was the song?
It wasn't.
Please tell
oh
me
my
it was
God,
something
no.
Whitney Houston.
It was 90s, like it was 90s R&B. It was I'm like a bum bum bum, and let me hear you say hey-oh, hey-oh. And I mashed it up with Axel F live on mic. Let me tell you. Michelle, your turn. No, but like literally, let me tell you, one of my favorite gigs of all time. Like all time. Loved every second. But yeah. Oh my God, I can't believe I did that. I'm just like remembering it. Like, wow. Can you imagine me?
That's what you call PS
singing live. I was wearing a flat wig with a ponytail at the back and a crop top that was orange, like not even orange like color, like orange pattern, like slices of orange mesh. Really cropped, and yeah, but like with like a high-waisted orange pant. Oh, horrendous. But one of the best performances in my life because I love an audience. I do. That was what was so fun about being on tour. Guaranteed audience.
We've got Acrid asking, do you think we're going back to a different scene?
No.
Yes.
No.
And that's answered that.
Listen, we're creatures of habit. We're creatures of habit. Just people in general. Creatures of habit, 1. 2, people who are sat at home miss the old scene. They don't want a new scene because it's the scene that exists that they're missing. They don't miss what they don't know they've not had. So they'll be expecting to come back to the same old scene. Also, I think the difference is going to be behind the scenes. That's where I think the difference is going to be. I don't think the difference to any punter walking in, they're not expecting to come back and see everything brand new. They want what they miss.
But let's be real though. The punters aren't punters. The punters are just as much a part of this as we are with each other. Like if I have an argument with like Gladys in the bank bar, the punters in the pink room know about it because it was on Twitter 2 minutes ago. Like it's not like. Not that me and Gladys have ever had an argument in the bank bar. I just use that as an example. But like the punters are just as much a part of it. It was on the street. I smashed their face. But no, it's like the punters are just as much a part of this as we are. So I'm almost half expecting the punters to be different when I go back. They're going to be more appreciative of us. That's what I'm expecting. Yeah. I'm expecting.
I think that's going to last all 2 weeks.
Yeah, but. You know, it'll be a nice 2 weeks.
It'll be a lovely 2 weeks.
Yeah.
I mean, two weeks of the clubs being open, we'll be back in lockdown again. Some will be back here talking about it.
Going back to modern drag, why do modern drag queens feel like they must be rude, nasty to customers to be entertaining? Is this something like because obviously Pebble, you're quite acidic.
I've often thought of Vicky Paris as a modern drag queen. Same with Miss Rory. I've always thought of Miss Rory as a modern drag queen. And any other drag queen from any other time who was always rude and nasty to the customers. It's perception. This is what I was talking about before. It's your perception of those words. If we feel like, and I feel like this is probably me, definitely drank too much. But I definitely feel like it's like if we feel like mentioning you on the mic is going to be a good punchline, for the love of Christ, take that as a compliment that we think enough people in the bar are going to be interested in you.
But at the same time, you've got a lot of drag queens who are very new to the game, who don't quite have the finesse to the insults, and they just turn around and go, "You're fat."
I don't.
Am
think
I a
the
modern drag
tenured-
queen?
I don't think the tenured drag
Right.
queens necessarily have that ability either. It's a very specific kind of person that will get away with that humour. And I would say there's maybe 5 queens on the scene who have it.
Name them.
Eh?
I'm writing these
Name
down.
them. I said maybe 5.
Okay, well, name the ones that you can think of, because I'm curious.
So
List the roast.
I think that's literally who I was waiting to say. But I think Mother, until she gets too drunk, handles it really well. Once she's had too much to drink, she doesn't handle it.
I don't think Mother starts it though. I don't think Mother's one of those ones to go in for the first insult. I feel like Mother stands back and lets them do it first, and then goes.
I think it would be easier to see who comes across. So I think, and this is very much just me, there's a generation of drag queens. We get Lily Savage. Lily Savage took the piss out of herself so she could take the piss out of you. And that's kind of, my humour's very... You cannot say anything nice to me without me saying, oh, it's for Amazon, oh, it's for Primark, oh, it's for... Do you know what I mean? Because I'll be self-deprecating so that I can then take the piss out of you as well. I'm inviting you to be kind of cheeky with me as well. But the kind of... I'm going to sound like Miss Rory here, but the drag queens that think Drag Race is the be-all and end-all of drag and to only watch an American form, because reading is a very American thing. It's not part of the vernacular in the UK.
We just call it banter over here. So.
Yeah, we're more banterous. Those kind of like, and don't put any humour into it, which I don't know if that's what David Merriweather's talking about, but that kind of younger queen where it's like they just come across as unlikable. You have to be likable for any
like,
humour.
If you look at Rory, like, I'm going to use Rory as an example because Rory is my definition of decent comedy in drag. Rory's first line, as he comes out, is always Rory. Instantly, the audience goes, "That's a bloke in a dress," and they can say whatever they watch. Whereas if you've got a queen who stood there in the same AliExpress catsuit as the queen next door and the long blonde wig, and they go, "Oh, you look like a cunt," then I can see what he meant with his statement. I don't know if I took instant offense because I thought I was a modern drag queen. I maybe not be. I might be a bit too old school, but like,
it's been a while, lass. It's been a while.
6 years next month, and like,
That's gay dead.
I feel like that was, well, yeah. But I feel like I was always. I don't know you like right because I've got 2 people that are in front of me that I met at different sides of this. I always felt like I fell into a category of being a bit too modern for the old school queens and a bit too old school for the modern queens, which like kind of left me with a bit of a because I had the comedy and
it was a massively difficult transition between the two because we're talking like how many 10, 12 years of RuPaul's Drag Race now, and even if you hadn't seen it, even if you hadn't seen it, the influence was there in drag, and we as older queens didn't have it. Like me, Sush, Gloria, we had our old school queens. Like I was talking on Gladys's birthday live about Connie and Carla, and people hadn't seen the movie Connie and Carla.
People haven't seen Connie and Carla?
I know. I've ordered 2 copies on DVD, so I'm going to give it out to people that I know. It's £3 each, girls. Get it on Amazon.
Actually, no. Saying this, I hadn't seen Connie and Clara until Miss Dixie, Josh gave me his copy of Connie and Clara.
It's amazing.
And that's when I've seen it.
It's like a forgotten classic. But
yeah, really good.
That old school musicals kind of concert hall bingo drag that I fall into was very much rapidly replaced with this whole hyper feminine comedy lots of luxe drag that we've got now, and it was a hell of a transition, and they met so roughly in the middle that
With
there
me
was one.
right there.
You were literally in the middle of it, like because
Because
you were
I think
doing
I
the
had the
old school comedy.
sensibility. Yeah.
You were doing the old school comedy with a massively modern twist, and we
I
were
think
like,
I had
I
the
don't think I get it.
sensibility. Yeah, I had the sensibility of like you, Gloria, Sushi, Rory, like Ophelia. I had that
Yeah.
kind of mindset where I was like, this is drag. But also, I really don't want to wear feathers. So can I just wear this t-shirt? And it was like, no, you can't. And I was like, no, I'm going to. And I remember like I used to wear flat wigs. I used to wear like no bra and a t-shirt that said no bra club, and I hated that. But like I had this kind of like, I'm gonna be this queen and also be this queen. And like, don't get me wrong, I've got like my paycheck looks, so like my Rory dresses for when I do Adonis. But like it's like I feel like it was a very difficult time for me to be me when I started.
Yeah.
Not to like I'm not throwing a big party out there, but like it was
Oh,
tough.
no.
It was.
I feel like, especially going through the drag idol process as well for you, because you were getting critiqued by people who knew what they wanted and penetration. It was very like, you have to fit into these categories for us to understand where you're going and to stay in this competition, basically.
But really difficult for me to get critiqued by 4 of my friends.
Yeah.
Because I was friends with you, I was friends with Rory. Well, Penny, I didn't really know, but I was friends with Ophelia because I was Barstar. That was so insane for me that like these people are now judging me, but they're also my friends, and whatever they say doesn't matter. But am I only getting pulled through because they're my friend? Like it was
It
a
still
very
had to be
difficult
show
time to like.
for the critiques. The critiques were still show. It was still what we meant, but we didn't mind afterwards clarifying things.
I feel like I've kind of fell into the middle of everything that you are saying. I feel like I've kind of fell into the middle of that because in age, I'm older than most of the queens on the scene. But in drag years, I'm younger.
Yeah.
My look is a deliberate choice. It's what I find fun for myself. But my humour definitely is cutting and acerbic and definitely falls into the kind of old school, but I'm able to use modern references and stuff. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. So I've always felt like I've been able to walk. I feel like I could go to a social club or a nightclub and do the same performance and it would go over. They would understand what it was.
See, I don't think that's the thing. I think you have a young person's look on what old school is. I feel like you are seeing the old school under the category of old school rather than old school actually living it.
What do you mean?
Because,
how do you mean?
Like, people say, like, oh, Lily Savage was, like, acid-tongued. She wasn't. She wasn't. She was cutting and she was funny, but she was never that. She, like, the boundaries were very much set, and you did not push the boundaries. You towed the line, but you didn't push the boundaries.
But to me, that's Lily on TV.
No.
If you watch any of the behind the scenes, blankety blank and that, she was vile.
I think you go back 30, 40 years in the bars and look at what the Queens were saying, and it was very much BBC comedy with a bit of
like
misogynistic
age-old humour.
Yeah. It was very BBC. They all touched kids. It was like incredible.
Yeah, but it was the equivalent of my mother-in-law jokes. That kind of humour.
Yeah. But that was the 80s. That's what we did.
You weren't a drag queen in the 80s.
No. I was a small boy in a bow tie. Susha said, I have to agree the transition from pre-RuPaul to post-RuPaul was so quick and such a culture clash. For me, I'd already started to lose my passion at the time, and enough of a personal tip that I couldn't pull myself up to meet the challenge.
But, Sushi, because you're watching, and I would not be sat here if it wasn't for you. You were my first queen. Like, you were my gateway drug to drag. And as much as my inspirations, because I've seen it night after night, were in Boulevard, I don't think I would have the confidence to do what I do if it wasn't for seeing someone like you. And I think a lot of the younger queens, the queens younger than me, don't realise how much we owe to people like you, Penny, Gloria, Rory, Ophelia, Rusty, like Kitty, like those people. We don't like. They don't realise how much we owe to people like you, because it's you created an atmosphere where queens were accepted, and us young queens might be too much for your punters, but you'd probably be too much for our punters. Like it's we met in the middle, and you went that way and I went that way. But like, if it wasn't for you, I wouldn't be here, and if it wasn't for me, Pebble probably wouldn't be here. So really, we've all got you to thank.
Oh no, you've got nothing to do with it, dear. Blame Risky and Mixie.
But
Oh,
I do agree. Like my first ever queen that I saw was Vicky Paris, and I remember being like astounded by Vicky because she had such stature and she commanded. So like, I'm trying to say she's big, but without being nasty. But like she held the audience in the palm of her hands, and this was in Zinc in Times Square, which is now the other rooms. So she was upstairs. You couldn't see her from downstairs. You had to go upstairs to see the drag queen. And she played King Caractacus and shit like that. And there was 3 people in the bar, so times haven't changed that much. But she held every single one of us in the palm of her hand, and she commanded respect. And that was something that I tried to mimic, and I never quite got the hang of. And I feel like that's something that, from the next generation, they probably saw a level of respect from me that I commanded, and I don't know if that was passed down again.
I remember,
but you also can't demand respect.
You can.
You also can't.
When you're in a DJ box, in complete control of the night, you can demand anything you want.
I fully remember.
But that attitude is why it doesn't work. That attitude is why it doesn't work.
I mean, I don't know if that's lasted this long.
No, but what I mean is having that attitude and believing that you own the night. The only reason you're there is for customers.
No,
if there's no customers, you didn't have a job.
Bullshit.
So if there's no customers, you would still have a job.
Absolutely. I work Tuesdays.
True. But I'm not talking about you in general. Like, I'm talking about everybody. So one of the opposite sides to look at is I'm just talking about the young. We've mentioned young queens a lot and new queens. Yeah. And one of the things that we can't do is forget that we were all new queens at one point. Our style was new at one point, and we also dealt with older queens who were ignorant cunts and didn't deserve the respect from us. I appreciate what you've done, but I don't respect you. Not you, not either of you, but in general.
But like, I genuinely feel like I never had
experienced
that. I don't feel like I ever experienced an older queen telling me what I was doing was wrong. I remember Vicky Paris telling me, that wig's not thick enough, here, take mine. Like, it was always oh, you're new, come on. And then we'll just lift you to here, see you next time.
I had the opposite side to Vicky. Vicky told me to come back in 10 years when I was still a person. And I did. But that also helped me do it. So she still put that in.
Listen, I've only spoken to Vicky Paris twice. I'm not talking about Vicky.
No, but I feel like with newer queens, like, I feel like I always want to give my best to them. And like, there's queens that'll DM me and I'll be like, you're doing great, you're doing a good job. I probably can't help you in the way that you think I can help you. New queens, hello, listen up. I feel like I probably can't help you in the way that you think I'm going to help you. I don't have the control to say, here's a shift. Okay? But I can say, come stand next to me and I'll show you how to DJ, which is what Penny did. Like,
but you have to pay attention. If you are stood next to a DJ, like, or a drag queen, pay attention. Don't just stand there thinking you're a person. Stand there looking at what they're doing, making notes as to why they're changing the songs at those moments, what the crowd's reacting to. Don't just stand there thinking that we're stood there playing songs. We're not. We are reading an entire room for the entire night. It's fucking exhausting. Yeah. It's tiring. Please buy us Sambuca. Like,
I fully remember standing next to you in the bank bar, and you're like, right, it's rule of 3. Okay, so I've played this 80s song, and I played this 80s song. What 80s song comes next? And I went, oh, do Whitney Houston, How Will I Know? And you were like, oh, you're close, but play I Want to Dance with Somebody because that's what everyone knows. And like that is like one of the things that sticks in my head when I like, even when I DJ now, I go rule of three, rule of three, rule of three. Gonna do this, right? Okay, transition this, blah 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 blah. And like it's those tips that you learn from like the older queens. And I guess maybe now I am an older queen. And I will help any single one of you. Like if like whoever's watching, like if you want to come stand next to me for like 20 minutes, half an hour, whatever, which is all I did with Penny, like come do it. I am happy to help you. Like, you know, if I've got a DJ job and this all comes, like when I'm saying,
You're gonna
like,
be 6 foot away, so I might just WhatsApp you.
I might not have a DJ job. I'll FaceTime you. But like, I like what the thing. I don't know when it stopped that people stopped being helpful, because I know I am, and I feel like there's queens that I help. I feel like I helped Gladys when she started Pink Room, whether she agrees or not, I did. Like whether there's queens that like have done Sunday Night Live who look at Layla, right? Look at Layla, and Layla, if she's watching, she'll agree with me. Layla was nobody when I gave her a first slot at Sunday Night Live, and she'll agree because she hadn't even done Drag Idol at this point. I am always happy to give someone a slot to give them a chance because that's what I want. I always want people to lift people up because that was what was done for me by Penny, by Vicky, by Gloria, by whoever. People should be pulling up the next generation. I'm very passionate about this.
I agree.
I agree.
It's very hard to do. Like speaking as someone who helped boost people and then kind of got the bitter end of it. That's part of what you do. Like you're paying it forward. You have to. That's something that I would like to say. You have to expect those queens, kings, people to then progress beyond you because they're learning so much faster nowadays as well. Like,
is that not a testament to you? If they're like,
I mean,
taking
I
on
helped,
board what
but,
you say.
like I helped a bit, but sometimes it's nice to kind of see people do it themselves. Like when Gloria went off to Grand Khan, I was like, that's my girl. We might not have spoken for a few years, but I was watching her do exactly what she said she wanted to do when we first started doing the banquets at Rusty's. And I was like, that's my girl there doing her dream. Like that moment, I was so proud of her.
Yeah. I think we were all proud of Gloria at that point. And let me tell you,
what is both of your goals? What is your goals in drag? Like, what do you want to achieve? Why drag? What do you want to achieve in it? Is there something that you see that you view as an achievement that you want to make?
Like obvious, like realistic achievement, or like aspirational achievement?
Both.
TV host.
Mm-hmm.
Genuinely, my absolute goal would be to be a guest on QI.
On what?
QI.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's my goal. Like, so for however long, oh my God, I've not said this on camera before. So for however long, I have been working on a one-woman show. It's been in progress for like 4 years because I keep going, no, people don't want to see that. But whatever, I'm working on it, it's there. My goal would be to take that Edinburgh Fringe. Edinburgh Fringe would take me to BBC. BBC would take me to QI. That was like my few step plan.
What about you,
it's a thing.
I actually put it out there into the atmosphere today when I was talking. I was like, I'm going to be on RuPaul's Drag Race Series 4. I'm going to be UK Drag Race Series 4. I'm applying.
Wow. That is not what I expected from you.
Yeah.
Me neither.
Of course not. But that's why I want to do it. I want to be there for the experience. Because if I have to learn every episode how to sew, how to do ad lib, how to do everything they have to do to be a modern queen,
I'm still here. I'm just putting you in charge.
I want that challenge. Like I want that challenge. I want to be tested. Like I've seen queens this series. We've had Joe Black, we've had Ginny Lemon, both very established queens, kind of go, I'm doing it, but I'm doing it on my terms. I don't want to do it on my terms. I want to do it on Rue's terms. I very much want to be there as long as Rue wants me there. But I plan to be there for week 1. Then anything extra is a bonus. So I'm going to go in, no limitations. Whatever you want me to do, Rue, I will make it happen to the best of my abilities. If you want me to be here, I'll be here. If I win it, I win it. If I lose, I'm out. That's my mentality.
That's the right mentality. Yes. I would obviously, like, I'm going to apply for season 4. I didn't apply for season 2 and I missed season 3. I'm going to apply for season 4. But for me, it's got the actual being on the show has nothing to do with drag. It's a reality TV show. It's got nothing to do with drag. It's a reality TV show. Go in, play whatever character you're dealt, do it well, and then the drag work is after.
Who do you think?
So I totally get where you're coming from. Pardon?
Who do you think from Newcastle would do well on Drag Race?
Very few people. Because there's so many niche queens. There's so many niche queens who have kind of a format that works for them that won't work for A, Drag Race, but B, a reality show.
But that's my exact reason to want to do it. I'm a karaoke
and I get it.
I want to go in there to push myself.
And that's the right attitude, though. That's what I mean. That's the right attitude to take. Is you're not going on there to be like, this is my drag, I want you to see my drag. You're saying, I'm coming on here to say, this is my drag, but let me learn from your drag as well. That's the difference. So that's the right attitude.
In the comments, who do you want? Let us know. Gladys and Lucy?
Yes. Genuinely, I think that myself and Plastiq are adaptable enough that we would probably do all right. I don't think by any stretch I would win, but I think we're adaptable enough. Yeah,
I don't feel like winning gets you anything. I don't feel like winning gets you anything.
It literally doesn't get you anything.
Extra compared to the rest of the contestants. The rest of the contestants are getting
the only thing on Drag Race that can get you
memorable.
Right, that's the thing. The only thing on Drag Race that can get you far is yourself. If you go on there and you're a character, Alyssa Edwards is the perfect example. Like, she wasn't top 4 anytime. She wasn't top 3, but she is one of the most memorable queens of Drag Race, and that is what's got her work. Like, she's the perfect example. Like
Valentina. We were all enthralled by Val. I know you don't. No, but here's the thing: memorable doesn't mean everyone's going to like you. You're better to be polarizing than loved by everyone. Because loved by everyone doesn't get you gigs.
Yeah,
which is why Jack worked. Why Jack worked continuously before lockdown.
Girls, we've overran for half an hour, so I'm going to finish with what.
Oh my God, so we have
picked by the pile. What would be the most excruciating thing to watch in a rap battle? You can't see yourselves.
A white person.
Tesco.
So we've got Tesco versus a white person.
Yeah.
Basically,
Tesco
I'd like
versus
a refund.
herself.
I'd like a refund. You're not going to get a refund.
Yes.
And on that note, girls, thank you so much for joining me.
I can't believe it's over.
Yeah.
I can't believe it's been so long.
Now. What are we plugging? What's coming up?
So, Saturday, Plastiq, you're drunk. Saturday, this Saturday coming, facebook.com/groups/Pebbles Roast. The roast will be live from 9 o'clock. We've got an amazing array of queens from all over kind of the Newcastle area, and it's going to be amazing. Plastiq's got our YouTube channel. If you go on YouTube and search Plastiq's Critiques, you'll find our YouTube channel. Subscribe, ring the bell, like, review. Search A Horrible Time on every podcast platform and YouTube, and you'll be able to find my platform. My Instagram is It's Pebble Dash. Plastiq's is Instagram, dear.
Jack Plastiq.
Jack Plastiq. And thank you for having us, Penny.
It's been an absolute pleasure, girls. Thank you so much for tuning tonight. And you're both welcome back whenever you want.
I feel like it's been a very wise episode tonight.
She's gone.
I
Right.
got disconnected there because Mona Lott just tried to FaceTime me.
How dare she?
I'm very confused.
If there's any beef, you'll catch it on Untucked. We'll see you again soon. Thanks, Plastiq. Thanks, Pebble. And from me to Rob. I'll see you next Tuesday.